From Global's newsroom at 10 o'clock, the UN Security Council has called for all sides of the Israel-Hamas war to allow more aid to get into Gaza. After days of deliberations, members have agreed a resolution which stops short of calling for an immediate ceasefire. The US and Russia chose to abstain but did not block the statement. The Foreign Secretary, David Cameron, has welcomed the result.
People across Gaza urgently need food, medicine and shelter. We've consistently argued for more aid and called on Israel to open more border crossings, as well as the need for expanded humanitarian access. The UN resolution today demands the immediate and unconditional release of hostages.
An investigation into alleged child abduction has begun following the disappearance of Alex Batty. The now 17-year-old returned to the UK at the weekend after travelling abroad with his mother and grandfather 6 years ago. A new minimum salary threshold for family visas won't be brought in full until 2025. It emerged yesterday the amount someone needs to earn to bring their families to the UK first will rise to $29,000 in the spring. The Home Office says it will increase to the originally proposed $38,700 incrementally. Director of the Migration Observatory at the University of Oxford, Dr. Madeleine Sumption, has told LBC the new figure is still a lot of money.
I'm actually not aware of a country in the world that has such a restrictive policy on family migration. I mean, most countries you're looking at have their thresholds are more sort of designed to really keep people out of serious poverty. And so, often you get thresholds in the range of maybe somewhere between £10,000 and £20,000. So this by international standards actually would be considered pretty restrictive.
Drivers are being advised to time their journeys wisely as millions of people take to the roads ahead of Christmas. The RAC says people should aim to travel between now and around 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. And a new Banksy, which appeared in South London earlier, has already been removed. The artist confirmed the installation was genuine by posting it on social media. But less than an hour later, 2 men were seen removing the traffic stop sign covered with 3 military drones in Peckham. In the city, the FTSE 100 has closed up 2 points at 76.97. The pound buys $1.27 and €1.15. LBC weather: rain across Scotland and northern England tonight, with snow or sleet in the far north and northeast. Mainly dry and windy elsewhere, with a low of -1. From Global's newsroom for LBC, I'm Daryl Jackson.
This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbot.
Anybody care what this guy thinks?
No! Well, let's get back to it.
Conditions will remain unsettled this weekend, with further Atlantic frontal systems bringing in rain and strong winds. What? No snow?
Oh, no.
Throughout the weekend, any snow is most likely to be confined to high ground in northern Scotland, said the Met Office. Damn it! The rain is expected to be heaviest in the west and the northwest. Well, I bet it is. I can check on that while you wait. But what's the point? I mean, I just assume. Glasgow. Oh, dear. It's raining at the moment. And it will be raining on Saturday, and raining on Sunday, and raining on Monday, and raining... No, wait. Not raining on Tuesday? Pfft, rubbish. Raining on Wednesday, and raining on Thursday, and raining on Friday, and raining on Saturday, and raining on Sunday, New Year's Eve. And raining on the first day of the new year, and on the Tuesday, and on the Thursday, and the Wednesday. But not necessarily in that order. For some reason, I've got Marbella on my phone. Look at the weather there. Good grief. God, that actually makes me angry. Sunny day after day after day after day. But you know me, I never complain.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
Conditions will remain unsettled this weekend. Any snow on the high grounds in northern Scotland, wherever that is. Christmas Day looks unsettled in northern and western areas, and showers in the north could be wintry with hail, thunder, lightning. Very, very frightening. It's going to be drier and brighter in the south of the country with temperatures near normal for the time of year, but the wind will make it feel colder. Yeah, like blooming winter outside. Actually, it's like autumn outside. It comes as the Police Service of Northern Ireland warned people on roads to be aware of the potential for falling trees and debris. A statement from the Police Service of Northern Ireland said, "Arr." It said road users are advised of potential traffic disruption caused by fallen trees and debris. And if you are driving in areas of potential disruption, then the official guidance is to speed up. And if somebody in front of you is driving at or below the posted speed limit, simply lean on your horn a lot and try to undertake them on a roundabout. And if that fails, overtake by going around an island on the wrong side of the road, because you are special and nothing bad will ever happen to you. Of course, if you're driving a Range Rover, you will already be doing this.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Would you like to hear Would you like to hear the long-range forecast for the next 4 weeks?
No.
Tomorrow and for Christmas Day. Blimey. What day is it? It's the 22nd, so that's 23rd is tomorrow, and the 24th is, the 24th, that's the beginning of the A to Z of 2023, my favourite shows of the year. The A to Z of the year starts 10 p.m. on Christmas Eve, goes all the way through to and including New Year's Eve, as long as I live that long. So tomorrow and for Christmas Day and Boxing Day. No, wait, tomorrow and for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day and Boxing Day. It doesn't really make any difference. It's going to be cloudy and rainy and drizzly. For western areas, further rain in Scotland falling as snow for a time. Rain will also affect Northern Ireland and Northern England later. And then, the first week of the new year. A storm comes in on Wednesday, bringing more rain and strong winds to many areas. And I sincerely hope that your area remains unaffected. Settled conditions are likely to continue into early January, and in the middle of January, more of the same. Unsettled with bands of rain. Temperatures around average with some milder spells in the south. Temperatures around average with some milder spells in the south? We'll take it. Carol texts, Sunak's Rwanda plan, with no planes, as in airlines fearing reputational damage, is like failing Grayling giving a ferry contract to a company with no ferries. Yeah, we're going to fly them out. It's just that they're going to have to flap their arms really strongly in order to take off, because we ain't got no planes. It's just a small detail. They'll be able to hitch a ride on the back of a duck. Shall we start there? Oh, all right then. There's so much to talk about, I barely know where to begin. But all of this will come to a crashing halt on Christmas Eve at 10 p.m. When we're talking about any of this stuff, it'll be completely down to you. I will present myself to this show with a blank piece of paper and a completely blank mind. Can you believe that?
Yes.
And it will be up to you to fill the 3 hours. It won't have nothing to do with me. So if you haven't played this game before, then I think you'll love it. Starts at 10 p.m. on Christmas Eve, which is in, I don't know, it's a couple of weeks' time, something like that. Fishy Sunak has rode back on plans to house thousands of asylum seekers at a military barracks, a military what now? A military what?
Disgusting.
Barracks. Have you heard? Rishi Sunak has rode back on plans to house thousands of asylum seekers at a military barracks in his constituency because it is his constituency. The government confirmed in March that they were bringing forward plans to house migrants at Catterick Garrison in Titchy Suit Size's Richmond constituency in North Yorkshire. I bet when somebody said to him, we're going to put you up for the Richmond constituency, I bet he thought, oh, lovely, that's right near Eton. No, wrong. Not that Richmond. It's another one entirely. Anyway, a minister... right, so the government confirmed in March that they were bringing forward plans to house migrants at Catterick Garrison in Titch's Richmond constituency in North Yorkshire, with a minister saying that the move was Rishi Sunak showing leadership. The Prime Minister spoke out on the issue in September, saying it was important to find large sites to replace hotel accommodation costing £8 million a day, before making the point that these would be located in my constituency as well. Those were his words. Large sites to replace hotel accommodation, which, in his words, could be located in his own constituency. What he did not expect was that they would be located in his own constituency. Catterick was due to be used alongside the Bibby Stockholm barge in Portland and former RAF sites in Wethersfield in Essex and Scampton in Lincolnshire, with migrants living in government accommodation but free to come and go, like an open prison. But it's since emerged that the barracks in Titchy Suitsize's constituency will not now be used because they are in a protected area. That is, somewhere a Tory wants to get re-elected. The government spokesmodel confirmed that Catterick had been assessed as unsuitable for a large asylum facility, and that the government was reviewing alternative uses for the location, like a tennis complex for Rishi Sunak's house, or a home cinema the size of a football field for Rishi Sunak's house, or maybe they'll just leave it to grow weeds. Anything but bring the fruits of the government's incompetence and ineptitude to where the PM sometimes lives. In response, a Tory MP accused Titchy Suitsize of failing to keep his promises, saying, "We now have it. It was all just warm words. No migrants where I live, but the rest of the country can suffer with hotels and large sites," said a Tory MP. Wow, I do believe finally they appear to have got it. Bingo! Stephen Kinnock, the shadow immigration minister, said Rishi Sunak has overseen an explosion of emergency asylum accommodation on his watch, with the cost totalling an extraordinary £8 million a day for almost 400 hotels alone. Yet when accommodation is proposed in his leafy constituency, he tries every trick in the book to delay the process indefinitely, leaving other poorer areas of the country to shoulder more of the load. Yeah, that sounds like him. He said, why sign off on RAF Scampton but not Catterick Barracks? This goes right to the heart of the Prime Minister's character, said Stephen Kinnock. And a government spokesman said to that is an outrageous suggestion. Rishi Sunak doesn't have any character. How's being the top dog working out for you so far, Titchy?
Oh, fabulous.
Not that great. Tristan texts, I was listening to the Nick Abbot Habit, which is one of the other podcasts that I do. It's a best of, comes out in a month. Hang on, I'm going to cough. That's better. The Nick Abbot Habit is one of the podcasts that I do. It's a best of. It lasts for 30 minutes. I think you will love it. And it's there's just loads of them available. Over 100. Well, it could be 200. What do I know? Or do I sound like an accountant? But you'll find it on Global Player, along with the other two podcasts that I do, the Nick Abbot Habit. Anyway, Tristan was saying that I was listening to that very thing, the Nick Abbot Habit, and a chap phoned in saying he'd lost his cat. His cat called Sixpence. If that chap is listening, did he ever find his cat? I blame Megan Sparkles. Oh, yeah. Thanks a lot, Megan Sparkles. You see what you've done? I don't remember that, and I edited it. He lost his cat called Sixpence? Oh. I do not remember that. Maybe you were listening to an old episode. That's the beauty of podcasts. You can listen to them, from way back. But the Listen Again service that you'll find on Global Player, that only puts shows up for about a week, there or thereabouts. Ahmed says, I do enjoy listening to your show every Friday and Saturday while I munch on some takeaway. Well, there's plenty I could say. There's running around my mind right now, and I'm not going to say any of them. You're welcome.
Thank you.
I do enjoy listening to your show every Friday and Saturday while I munch on some takeaway. I find it very relaxing, says Ahmed. Please do not spoil my food and your show today and talk about unattended poo lorries for the next 2 hours like you did last Saturday. It's still running around my brain that, what was it, East Anglia Water or Thames? One of those. One of those water companies. Exactly. One of those water companies, I think it was Thames, wasn't it? They filled up something like 400 tankers of hot, delicious, fresh sewage and just transported them. But then what would they do with it? Not the sewage, the lorries. This occupied my mind for a considerable time last week. I bet you're upset you missed it. What on earth could they possibly put in those lorries after they had been... you know those big tanker lorries that often have like symbols on the back warning you not to open them or, smoke in its vicinity?
Warning, warning.
Or opening them with a can opener. They usually have like a dotted line that always looks to me like cut here. I don't know what that's for. I bet the internet knows. What on earth could they use a tanker for that had been used to transport raw sewage? What could they put in it? I mean, they'd have to decommission that thing. You couldn't even put petrol in it. You imagine the smell of it.
Disgusting.
So I mean, it wouldn't be enough to clean it, give it a quick squirt, and then put milk in it, would it? I think that inquiring minds deserve to find out. So there you are, Ahmed. I've only talked for a brief period about unattended poo lorries, not the whole 2 hours that I did get out of it last week. You're welcome. Archie says, it's been a strange year. We've only had one unelected MP. PM, I think you mean. We've only had one unelected PM. Something must be very wrong with our democracy. I think something's very wrong with...
this government.
Exactly. It's the only thing he's ever said that I've agreed with. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
LBC. Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet @LBC. Text 84850.
Thank you for holding. Your call is important to us.
Yes, your call is important to us, Steve in Erith.
Oh, hello, Nick.
Steve.
It's just a theory about Michael Fabricant's hair.
Okay.
I believe it is a wig.
Why is that?
Well, there was a clip on YouTube, and it was a long time ago, and he's had the same thing for years. And if you look at those B movies, you know those B movies like Hammer and that?
Yeah.
If you look at the wigs in them, they're not much different.
Right. I do maintain that no wig maker would ever make something that looks like that, and nobody would buy a wig from a wig maker that looks like that. So, therefore...
Have you not seen that British gangster film, Rise of the Foot Soldier?
No, I never even heard of it.
Oh, right. There's a British gangster film called Rise of the Foot Soldier. It's about 3 Essex gangsters that were murdered. It's based on truth.
Oh, okay.
But one of the,
now you're really bringing us down. Story of gangsters?
No, absolutely. Say, one of the men in there is wearing a wig. And it looks just like Michael Fabricant.
Spitting
a
image.
Different colour.
Right. Right. Okay, well, I'll leave it with me, Steve, and I'll do further investigation, and I'll have a full report on your desk first thing, well, not Monday morning, because it's a holiday. How about Tuesday? Well, not Tuesday.
Tuesday's fine.
No, not Tuesday, because, the period between Christmas and New Year's, nobody comes into work then, apart from me, of course. How about 3 weeks on Tuesday?
That'd do great.
It's a deal. Yeah. So it may be a piece, a rug, but I kind of doubt it. Either way.
You don't need to put all of that product in your hair. You just don't.
You just don't. That's a fact. It's the only fact you'll probably hear on this show. Rachel says, if new income thresholds for legally migrating to the UK are the harshest global standards, it sounds as though we'll soon have world-beating standards for restricting migration. Yeah, I seriously doubt that. I can get into that as well, but let's pace ourselves and not get carried away, eh? Merthyr Tydfil, Jeff.
Hiya, Nick. I just wanted to say, did you know that we are going through the process of replacing our First Minister on this neck of the woods? Mark Drakeford.
Right.
And he's in the BBC online news thing, and on other programs. He's been banned from virtually every public house in North Wales.
Why? Why?
Well, because he seems to upset people in North Wales. So all the publicans have banned him from coming. He has expressed the thing. It's not something that's really going to bother him, but he's been banned. Now this has become a piece of news in the BBC. I just can't get my head around it. You know, it's not news. It's non-news.
Well, I beg to differ. The Daily Post says under the headline "News." Mark Drakeford intensely relaxed about ban from North Wales pubs. Therefore, it must be news, because it says it right there. News.
Well, we're going to miss him. There's an election going on between a couple of the guys who want to replace him.
Oh, yeah.
But I really wanted, there is in the archive somewhere, the Conservatives, which are continually underfunding the NHS.
Yes.
The leader of the Welsh Conservative turns up one day, and I was just watching the television, and this very ineffectual, quiet guy, Mark Drakeford, was in a blinding rage. He was fuming, and he's got a ring binder thing in front of him, and he was flicking it over with such venom that it terrified the Conservatives. It really did.
Well, I am keen to find out why he's been banned from pubs, and I could waste my time reading this story, actually doing research, but it's not really my thing.
It's not news, Nick. It's just nonsense.
All right. Well, it fits right in on this show then. How's that open cast mine doing there for you, Jeff? Have they patched it back together again and it all looks beautiful as it used to?
I passed it today and I looked across, but they built in a massive new dual carriageway across the heads of the valley here.
It's beautiful.
It's wonderful concrete. And I looked across at the this massive hall, but everything has stopped. It stopped for Christmas.
Yes.
Nothing is working. But the day before, I did see trucks moving coal around on it. So.
I'm glad to hear it. As long as they're doing their bit to ruin the environment, that's all that matters to me. Yeah. All right, good work. Thanks a lot, Jeff. Mark Drakeford has said he is intensely relaxed about his ban from a series of pubs in North Wales. Wherever that is. The Labour First Minister of Wales, who recently announced he would step down by March, also said the publicans behind the ban were not in any danger of him visiting, which is a great relief to them all, I bet. After Drakeford announced his intention to resign last week, Phil Ash, the chairman of the Llandudno Pub, and vice chairman of the West Conwy Pub Watch, said the First Minister would struggle to find a pint in 90 pubs in North Wales. He was issued with a ban in 2020 over a row of COVID rules. Right. Asked by the PA News Agency what he thought about the ban, Drakeford said, "I find myself intensely relaxed at this." He said they're in no danger of me visiting, so they can be relaxed as well. He'll continue to be thirsty if he makes it to Rhyl. No chance, mate. Roland texts, if you can get the days of your weather report in order for Glasgow, you get extra points. Well, that is a good point.
If you get it in order, you get extra points.
If you get it in order, you get extra points.
And it was 30 or 35 questions. The first questions are very easy. The last questions are much more difficult.
Much more difficult. Did you hear that Donald Trump smells, by the way? I mean, talk about daft news stories. Well, fingers crossed nothing majorly serious breaks out, but it's going to be daft news stories for about another week now. And chief amongst which is that Donald Trump has a certain odour. Well, I'll get into that in a minute. Isn't it exciting? Christine says, I don't suppose you checked out Courtney Hadwin's Christmas Rocks song. I hope you did. No. I don't know. Who's Courtney Hadwin? Her songs Monsters and This Girl Don't Live Here Anymore also call me back. Now, does Christine mean that I should call her back? Or that Call Me Back is a song by someone called Courtney Hadwin? Either way, I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. Ed says, Nick, have you heard Charles Windsor is going to knight Justin Welby? That's all we need. As we approach the new year, more daft titles. Oh, we're going to be showered with daft titles. All over us, they're going to be showering daft titles. Yeah, that's what comes with the new year. Lee says, Mr. Abbot. Oh, this doesn't start well, does it? I have been travelling around Africa and Asia collecting a certain species of snake and destroying them. I am doing my best to help Rishi stop the boas. Oh, no. I feel actual pain right now. No jokes. It's not a Christmas cracker. I don't know, there seems to be something wrong with my... There seems to be something wrong with... Oh, no, more where that came from. Seriously?
Lee is on it this evening.
OK, well, he can enjoy himself on it, just as long as he doesn't bother us anymore. Mr. Abbott, I've been going around my country placing straw hats in a bin liner. I'm doing my best to help Rishi stop the boaters. No more. I mean it. Lee says, I've been collecting furry, long-bodied creatures and locking them up in cages. I'm doing my best to help Rishi stop the stoats. 0345 6060 973. You see what I have to put up with? It's, if this wasn't a calling, I would storm out of here right now. Chrissy says, send them to the House of Commons. Them? Who them? Send them to the House of Commons to collect another bunch of bleep. Very bad word that I can't say. Send them to the House... Oh, the poo lorries. Right. Send them to the House of Commons to collect another bunch of bleep. Incidentally, the Houses of Parliament are eons old and need demolishing, just like... just like their creaking occupants. Eons? Really? The Houses of Parliament are eons old. I didn't know that. This is an educational programme, no?
No.
And they need demolishing just like their creaking occupants. Well, I tell you what, you might want to try beating the stink of boiled cabbage out of the place, because it just honks. I was there just the other day, and you could follow your nose to any of the restaurants on site, because they all smell the bloomin' same. They smell like it sort of smells a bit like an old people's home that does its own catering. You know, I bet the stench of boiled cabbage is just imbued in the fabric of the building, not necessarily the fabric in the building, of the building. I'm not talking about the curtains. I mean the wood, the floors, the ceilings, everything. Boiled cabbage. Which accurately describes some of its occupants. And in short, Chrissy, yes, I think you're probably right. Eons old, needs demolishing just like its creaking occupants. Finally, we agree. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it is @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10, Nick Abbott, LBC. It's 10:30, the news headlines with Daryl Jackson.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Excuse me?
Junior text, Rishi Sunak, I'm focused on delivering for Britain and I'm gripping it. has delivered the following. Sewage, no taxes for Amazon, Shell, the Daily Mail and his wife, the highest fuel, food, energy, water and taxes, and the most corrupt government ever, says Junior. Probably one of those junior doctors. Or doctors in training, as I like to call them. Said an MP in training. Can you believe that? Good grief. Every day in every way, they seem determined to surprise us further. How low can they go? There doesn't seem to be any limit to how low they can go. Just when you thought they'd gone lower, they managed to find a way to go... screwed that one up. Just when you thought they couldn't go any lower, they find a way.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Howard texts, I'm from South Wales, but I live in North Wales. I love it here, but I think that the North Wales pub owners are idiots banning Mark Drakeford. What is it with the South Welsh and the North Welsh? They just can't stand each other. Why can't people just get along? Let's have... and usually that's often the case in countries, and it's usually the demarcation is north-south. And the people in the south think ill of the people in the north, and vice versa. But I'm kind of surprised that it happens in somewhere as relatively small as Wales. But there it is. They just can't get along. Southampton, hello, Ian.
Hello, Nick. I just like to wish you a very happy Christmas.
Well, happy Christmas to you too.
And may you have a prosperous new year as well, my friend.
Thanks.
I just wanted to say happy Christmas to you because I'm like...
Because it's Christmas.
Well, yeah, because it's Christmas. And,
yeah, and you want me to be happy.
Yeah, I want you to be... Well, yeah, as long as you're happy.
Hence, happy Christmas.
Well, there you go.
All right, excellent work. Thanks a lot, Ian. Cheers, mate. 0345 6060 973. Just wanted to be happy on Jesus' birthday. Everybody feeling festive? Yeah, I don't know. Some years you do and some years you don't. It's sort of passed me by a bit this year. Howard texts... No, I've read that. Sue says, do you think Glasgow should have its own anthem? If so, what about Supertramp's It's Raining Again? Well, as far as I'm aware, no member of Supertramp was from Glasgow, so that's out. But there are a couple that come to mind. Why does it always rain on me? There's that one. And I'm only happy when it rains. So those two, not Supertramp. You have to think, you have to cast your net a bit wider there, Sue. Anne says, this Christmas, JRM will be celebrating the birth of someone he'd normally consider a Corbynite communist immigrant who he'd then try to send to Rwanda. Ain't that right, Smug?
I don't know anything.
He doesn't know anything. And I believe him. Chester. Hello, Jake.
Hello, Nick. You okay?
Yes, good, thanks.
Merry Christmas, by the way.
Yes, thanks.
I just want to talk about the difference between Rishi and Keir. Is it just me, or does Keir not have to do much to be a lot more prime ministerial than what Rishi is? I think Rishi seems to do. He U-turns on. But there was a picture today, I believe, was it today, with Keir standing with, was it the army or something like that?
Yes.
And that's the first time I actually thought, wow, he actually looks prime ministerial. He seems to be fitting into the role a lot more. He seems to be a lot more comfortable, I believe.
Yeah, I think that the change has happened very recently, and he seems to have walked or sort of tried on the blazer of power and found that it suits him. He does look more prime ministerial, certainly more prime ministerial than the bloke who's trying the jacket on at the moment and finding it doesn't come in his size.
Weren't you at House of Commons last week?
Yeah.
And you said that you didn't actually see Keir. Sorry, you couldn't see him at
Not
the time,
from my place. No, I could only see the front bench of the government's front bench, because I was sitting on above the Labour benches, so I couldn't actually see them. But I saw it on TV later, and what I thought in person, I mentioned all this last week, what I thought in person was a really easy ride that Keir Starmer gave Titchy Suit Size was actually, come to find out, having watched it on TV, he screwed him up into a tight ball and threw him at the bin.
Yeah, he seems like a very... I know you say Tetchy Sunan, but he does come across Rishi as a very petulant child.
Yes.
And I was quite surprised that he lost his cool. He seems to lose his cool so often. And the thing
really,
is,
yeah. And the reason is, I believe, that he is wafted through his perfumed existence, never hearing the word no.
The thing with Keir is, though, it wouldn't be a bad thing if this country had some calm. A lot of people criticise Keir for being, not a character. But would it be wrong to say that it might be kind of nice to have a bit of calm in politics?
Exactly. A little bit of sanity restored. Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Where you don't have to wake up every morning and think, oh, my God, what have they done now?
Exactly. And I just hope that the Lib Dems and Labour may come to some sort of agreement. I don't know what it's called, where they say to someone, don't vote in my constituency and stuff like that. But I hope they don't tear each other apart. I really think Labour have probably for the first time in several years, a good chance of getting in. And I really hope they don't do what the left
normally do.
I'm a Labour voter.
Wrestle each other to the ground and make it an easy win for the opposition. Yes.
Exactly. And it's Christmas, so let's be positive. I just think that Keir has finally found his, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, he's finally found his...
métier.
What does that mean? Sorry,
no one has any idea what that means. It's a foreign language, for crying out loud.
Okay, well, I just hope he does well, and I hope that, he keeps on doing what he's doing. And Rishi, unfortunately, I think the Tories thought, when they got rid of Liz, it was terrible. I think they thought he was the saviour, but I don't know what the polls are at the moment. No. I tend to not look at the polls now.
Dismal for them.
Really? Is it still that bad?
Awful. Nothing that Titchy Suit-Size does moves the polls in his favour. And he's tried everything he can think of. He's tried being mean. He's tried being nasty. He's tried being unpleasant. He's totally out of ideas.
I just like to say I do agree with you. When you say that they may not allow us to have another election.
Yeah.
I know that Rishi has said, that there will be an election next year. Mm-hmm. Do you think it will be in May, or do you? I don't believe they can't do it in October, correct? Because of the USA, I believe.
Why not? See, this is part of the excuses that they're running by us to see which one sticks. No, we can't do it in October because they're having an election in America. What the hell's that got to do with anything?
So that's not an actual thing, because if that's not an actual thing, I've just learned from you. I thought that was...
No, they just don't want to, fill our tiny minds with too much information all at once. So we wouldn't... the assumption being we wouldn't be able to cope with all of this news about what's happening in America and what's happening in this country as well. We'd be confused, discombobulated we'd be, as poor dopes who pay taxes with our tiny little brains going down to the polling station thinking that we would be able to vote for Fat Donny and not the people who are trying to run this country.
We're talking about voter ID quickly before I go. You mentioned that, it's obviously a ploy to stop Labour voters voting and such. But I spoke to my cousin today, 19, and he is adamant he's going to get, ID to vote for Labour. But
right, we found one.
a lot more. We're a Labour voting family, so we've never really voted for Conservative. There's one uncle that we don't.
Now, hang on a minute. We're a Labour voting family. That implies that you just haven't thought about it. Are you a robot?
No. No, I just mean that a lot of what my family went through in the 80s, they wouldn't vote for Conservatives.
Right.
So,
but how about the Greenies?
Groovy.
How about them? Give them a chance.
Well, it's good to see that the Greenies are actually rising in their percentage.
Yes.
I am slightly worried, I will admit, about reform.
No, I'm not. Don't be, because they're going to split. They are going to do the left's trick of splitting the right-wing vote. So don't be concerned about them. Let them get as big as they want.
Do you think Labour and Lib Dems will come to some sort of deal? Because
I don't think they'll have to. I think the Labour Party are going to win it in a landslide, and they'll be able to do whatever they blooming well like, and we'll just have to sit here and take it. Let's hope it's by even just a margin, like by tiny margins, that it is better than what we've been suffering over the last 13 years or so.
I very much hope so, but as I said, I believe that in 2019, I was silly, I guess. But I think this is their chance. Right. I really do think this is their chance, and they might not change things. People say to me they need, they can change things, but not straight away.
Right.
There's 13 years.
In 2019, you were silly, and then you kind of skipped by that. In what way were you silly?
Let's just say I do not take in social media now as much as I used. When people were saying, "Oh, Corbyn's gonna," I made a mistake. I believed it, but now I'm older and
wiser. Right.
Well,
you've learned your lesson, Jake.
I've always voted Labour, though. But sometimes it's difficult. But I do believe that Keir. It's took me a while. I won't lie. I won't lie to you.
You've come around to his way of thinking. Yeah. At first, you thought, well, this guy's a bit boring because you were comparing him to.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Him.
No, but I didn't think he was boring. But now I've come to the decision that maybe boring in politics since 2016 might be a good. Theresa May.
Exactly right. Yes.
I did not like Theresa May.
No.
But she was better than Boris.
At least she was.
Every single
yeah,
day.
she seemed like a normal human being. Kind of. I mean, she couldn't walk in those shoes. That is absolutely true. But apart from that, a little bit of dull wouldn't go amiss.
Boring.
Let's try that for a while. Good work. Thanks a lot, Jake. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
This is LBC. Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Oh, hello there. Very nice to meet you.
0345 6060 973. Dave says, I know that we should not mock someone's physical appearance, but has anyone ever seen Nigel Farage and E.T. in the same room together? Mick says, Donny said this week that Biden is the real threat to democracy, somehow managing to overlook the events of January the 6th, 2021, whenever that was. Well, that's the thing with people like Donald Trump is they tell you what they're going to do before they do it, and every accusation is an admission of guilt. He accuses other people of the things that he is doing every time. It's not just a one-off. He does it over and over and over again. If he is accusing somebody of doing something, then you know for a fact that he, Donald Trump, is guilty of doing that very same thing. And if he tells you he's going to run America as a dictator, believe him. I don't know. I mean, people they say, oh, that's just Donny. Yeah. It is. If he tells you he's going to take over the country and you'll never have another election again, believe him. 0345 6060 973. But he did get slung off the ballot in Colorado, which is going to impinge on his prospects somewhat. Totally unfair. Durham, Margaret.
Hello.
Margaret.
Hi. Hello. Be kind to me now, because it's my birthday.
Your birthday?
Okay? It's my... Thank you very much. Thank you. Now, why I wanted to talk to you. You hit on the North-South divide, and it's one of my little problems I have in the world. I found myself talking to a Canadian gentleman the other day.
I am so
on
sorry.
The phone.
Oh.
And I said, I know that accent, you're Canadian. He said, but what's yours? Where are you from? I've never heard that before.
No.
I said, well, we're a remote tribe in the north of England. Amazing people. And we speak true English. The flat A people. That's us. We say bath.
Whereas, in fact, it should be pronounced bath.
Oh, no, it shouldn't. It is a bath and a path, not a bath and a path, like
it's
you lot down there.
A bath and a path, yes.
It's a bath and a path. We'll argue. Swords out. Midnight. Right. And I said to him, so who are you? I said, well, the guys up here, the people up here, we're just magnificent people. I said, up here, the guys up here for generations have mined the coal, built the ships, made the steel. We do the heavy stuff. Mm-hmm. But all the money trickles down to the home counties.
Trickle-down economics. That's right.
Exactly. Well, it's trickled down south. But I said, you know, we don't miss it because we're good enough up here. We've got the best people in the world. A lovely place to live. I've been walking in woods and forests today. It is wonderful, but it's not fair.
No, it isn't fair. Did you see any fauna, by the way? Any fauna at all?
And yes, and lots of flora too.
Flora?
And all sorts of habitat.
Right.
Flora and
She was there
fauna.
too, was she?
Right. Yes, she was, both of them. In league with Mother Nature. Quite beautiful, quite beautiful. Anyway, remember that. We're the real people up here, the straight A tribe.
Another excellent reason not to go.
Would you be welcome? It's not that easy, you know. We have certain conditions. You need a special passport. Get in touch with me. I'll get you a passport if you want.
Now, if you're Margaret, wouldn't you be Margaret?
I would not. I'm Margaret.
Flat A.
And my twin sister is... No, I'm Margaret. Oh, I must say...
I see. So
I was educated at a convent school, so there's a bit of Irish in there. And I can de-Geordie if I want to, but that was sort of ironed out by the dear Sisters of Mercy.
Yeah, I bet it was.
It was.
They beat that out of you.
Absolutely.
Sisters of Mercy. Not talking about the band, we're talking about the convent.
Les Sans Mercy.
Right, okay. All right, good to talk to you, Margaret.
Thank you.
And a happy birthday. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, cheers, my dear. Simon, the message coming in from next door, my glamorous assistant says, that wasn't Geordie, she sounds as Geordie as me. Now, he doesn't mean me, he means him. But as you have no idea what he sounds like, that's kind of nonsensical. Just ignore everything he says. Simon says, my Welsh granddad told me why North and South Wales are like two countries. Those in the south all speak English and zero Welsh. In the north, they are mostly Welsh and English speakers. Well, that's not too much of a difference because both North and South speak English. You're saying that the only people who speak Welsh are living in the north. And having been in Welsh Wales just recently, it is a bit weird when you go into a shop and everybody's yammering away in this foreign language. Just a bit bizarre that you haven't had to get in a boat or a plane to go somewhere where you can't understand a blooming word they say. 0345 6060 973. St Albans. Hello, Mark.
Oh, good evening. How are you?
Great, mate.
I'm just... it may be a straight question and everyone knows the answer, but what qualifications do MPs have?
Zero. They have no qualifications to do their job at all.
What do they need?
Other than
what do they need to become an MP?
A front. They've got to have front is all. They've got to have the ability to lie straight to our face without flinching.
And do they do any training beforehand?
What do you think, Mark?
Well, I'm starting to realise that I'm getting old and I'm starting to realise.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you're realising a little bit too late. Wake up, sheeples.
And thanks for making me laugh. Have a good one.
Thanks a lot, Mark. 0345 6060 973. Yeah, this is presumably about the Atkins person. I cannot believe it. Just when you thought they couldn't go any lower, they managed to find a way. I'll get to that in a bit. Chrissy texts, it's just occurred to me that Fishy looks like he works on commission rather than a salary, or auditioning for the new role of the stable owner in the parliamentary nativity play. Because I thought that he would audition for the role of the baby. Being as how that's the way he acts much of the time. When he's not spitting venom. Because somebody said the word no to him. It must be a bit difficult for him because I bet he's never actually come across that word no before. I mean, here's a man who... How old is he? He's like 40-something. His life has been so gilded. He wafts around on a perfume cloud. He's so out of touch with the rest of our reality that he does not know how a credit card works.
What?
Yeah. I mean, it's not like he doesn't have one or he can't afford stuff, but he must have other people to buy everything for him. How can you not know how a credit card works? I mean, it's not even hard anymore. It used to be that most of the time you used to have to stick it in the machine and remember your PIN. Do you remember your PIN?
Oh, no.
Yeah, and then you would peel the sticky tape that you put on the credit card that's got your PIN on it off. But no, he didn't even know that. These days you just boop it on a machine. Boop, it goes. And you've suddenly bought the thing that has been missing in your life for your entire existence. Or just some cheap piece of rubbish that nobody actually needs. But he didn't even know how to do that, which means that other people have done that for him his whole life. He's never gone shopping before. How is that possible? I bet Prince Charles knows how to use a blooming credit card. He would grip it in his sausage fingers and flash it over the machine. I bet he'd do it like an expert. But Rishi Bloomin' Sunak doesn't know how plastic works. It's absolutely incredible. And we have him with our lives in his hands. What could possibly go right? Emma says, please stop being such a Scrooge. We need you to be on sunny, joyous form, especially since we're being faced with this perpetual, miserable grey sky for this miserable grey sky for what feels like forever now. Dreadful, says Emma.
Dreadful.
Dreadful. Hey, Emma.
Stop whining.
We're not going to see the sun for a good long while. I mean, I can check on that, but I don't think that the sun is going to come out like ever. And it's so annoying talking to, it's one of the annoying things about talking to Carol McGiffin on the phone, because she lives in the south of France.
Oh, fabulous.
Where it's never not her We do a podcast together. It's called What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol, in which we try to solve people's problems while laughing our faces off. And her end is being recorded in the sunshine and the warmth of the south of France, and I am usually shivering underneath a heated blanket in the insalubrious surroundings of my damp garret under slate grey skies. No, we're not going to. Well, it's going to peek out every now and again, but not a sunny day as you would, as she is experiencing day after day after day. It's just going to be, blech, from now until, well, now, let me see now, December, so we've only got, 7 months of this to go?
Oh, no.
But you know me, I never complain.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
0345 6060 973. I should mention that podcast, by the way. I mean, I should tell you more about it, where to get it. If you haven't heard it yet, it is a hoot. It's a hoot and a half, I'd say. It's called What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol? And Carol McGiffin and I try to solve people's problems while trying not to laugh too hard and fail on both counts most of the time. It is amusing. If you've got an hour and you wish to be amused, I think it'd be right up your alley. And there's a big announcement in the most recent one, which is the last one before the new year. We'll be back on the 8th, I think it is, the second Monday in the new year. What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol? Available now on an internet near you. Ask for it by name. What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol? You'll get it on Global Player, which is free from your app store or globalplayer.com. And you can thank me later. No, wait. I've changed my mind. You can thank me now.
Thank you.
On your radio, on Global Player, and
Play LBC.
Leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC. This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbot.
This is absolute tosh.
Yeah!
Dudes! It's Solstice Day today. Days are getting longer again. Well, not quite. I think the sun will go over. It's as far west as it's going to get, which is confusing because west seems to move depending on the time of the year. That is a fact. You might want to write that down. This will be on the test, by the way. But the sun just goes over and over and over and then stops for a couple of days and stays more or less the same, weirdly. And then it will start to get lighter. And so we'll have more time to see how dull and grey it is. There's something to look forward to. Just another 7 months of misery to go before it gets warm again. Archie says Labour will not win the next election and Trump will win the next US election. I know, how sad is that, says Archie, which I think is... that just doesn't sound likely. It doesn't sound likely that Labour will lose the next election. I mean, it would have to be something pretty cataclysmic to happen between now and then, assuming that we are allowed to have another election in this country, and, as I keep saying, it is not cancelled for our safety. But Trump winning the next US election? I don't know. I think there's just so many people. I mean, his fans are immovable. And they will not be persuaded to leave the screaming Mimi, no matter what he does or says to them. For a certain particular reason.
I love the poorly educated.
Exactly. They have made their tiny minds up and they will not be moved. So he has, his fans will go out in any kind of weather. They will shoot the weather, if necessary, just to get through it, in order to vote for Agolf Twitler. But there's just so many people that dislike the man, and the abortion... Shall we talk about abortion?
No.
No. But the abortion issue in America, which is the Republicans' thing, is disliked by more than just 50% of the population. It's not just women who like that whole, who dislike that whole "we determine what you do with your body" thing. So I'm not sure that Trump will actually win. The thing that's concerning me is, will Joe Biden actually live long enough to take the oath? Hemel Hempstead, hello, Kitty.
Oh, hello.
Kitty.
Hiya, how you doing?
I am great, mate.
Oh, that's lovely, lovely. I love listening to you, by the way.
Thanks.
As controversial as you are.
I am not.
Oh, tell me. It was just what you said about cabbage in care homes, or the smell of cabbage. I'm in Tring, Hertfordshire. My mum's in a care home in Tring, Hertfordshire.
Yes.
There's never, ever, ever a smell of cabbage.
No.
Andrea, the chef, is amazing. The food they prepare is amazing. And I volunteer there several afternoons a week. And during the growing season, I help the residents grow their own vegetables that are used within, for the meals, like potatoes and salad and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
So I just wanted to put that side of things to you.
So what's the menu for Christmas Day?
Oh, it will be wonderful. Mm-hmm. Firstly... And I'm just going to, I'll be going in the morning to see my mum, and I will be dressed up to the hilt in Christmas stuff with over-the-knee boots. I will have chocolates for all the residents.
Now, hang on a minute, Kitty. Wait. You are going to be wearing more than just over-the-knee boots. Please tell me.
No.
Right.
No. I'll have a Santa's skirt and a Santa's hat and a Santa's everything.
Right.
I've got a wonderful bowl of chocolates to take in, and I will go in. I will give my mum her presents, and then I will go through all the levels from the dementia unit up with my jingly bells, and I've got jingly bells they can play, and give out chocolates. And for lunch, it will be amazing. I've been making table decorations with the residents, so they will be on the table.
Kitty,
and,
no one is going to have any appetite left because you've stuffed their faces with chocolates.
Oh, no. I'm pretty careful, and I also know the diabetic, so, I'm pretty clued up there. But it will be a lovely Christmas day. Mm-hmm. Lots of family that... My mum can't come to me because my house isn't suitable, but lots of family will go in and eat with their
Well, the
parents.
most important part of a Christmas dinner is, as any fool know, the potatoes.
Well, I can't vouch for those. But what I can say is
you're washing your
wait
a minute.
Roasties.
Right, so you're washing your hands of that whole potato issue?
No, but I make the best roasties going.
But you're not going to make roasties for the residents?
No, because Andrea is amazing. And I'll tell you what, when Andrea's not cooking for the care home, she's cooking. She cooks for the homeless.
Right.
She takes her spare time out to cook for her. But it was just to say, it doesn't smell
Doesn't
of cabbage.
smell like cabbage. No, right. Well, I pity the residents because they could have had the most fantastic roast potatoes cooked by you, but you can't be bothered.
Well, maybe next year.
Apparently, you can't be bothered to do that for them.
Oh, no. You're
Christmas.
doing it again. You're doing it again. Of course I could be bothered, but, a cold roast potato is not as good as a hot roast potato, so better that it comes straight from the oven.
Right from the kitchen in the house. Right. Okay.
Absolutely.
Excellent work there, Kitty. Cheers, my dear. 0345 6060 973. Sound like she's dressed up to go to like a naughty Santa. Like just the way she described it sounded like strip Mrs. Santa, didn't it? Over the knee boots.
Disgusting.
At Christmas. Andy says, let's give Rishi the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he's got a speech impediment and meant to say stop the votes, in which case he's smashing it.
This government.
I mean, it's just, at this point, it's just embarrassing, isn't it? It's embarrassing. Everything about him and this government is embarrassing. I mean, if I was going abroad on holiday, I think I would make out like I'm Australian or something, or just Canadian. Even being a Canadian is less embarrassing than it is being a Brit right now. Can you believe that? Stan says, did you see Titchy buy 6 boxes of mince pies today for frontline workers? God bless us, everyone. I hope he managed to navigate the contactless machine this time. Yeah, almost certainly they were a freebie. 6 boxes of mince pies for frontline workers. Oh, that's really going to go around a lot. I didn't see that. I missed that. Is there no beginning to his generosity? Oh, mince pies? Oh, well, then that forgives everything. St Albans, hello, Phil.
Hi, Nick. Merry Christmas to you on LBC and the entire country.
Oh, thank you.
I was wondering if you could answer a question that's been bugging me for ages.
Yes.
Rishi Sunak is often called Richie Sunak.
Yes.
And as much as I dislike him, I find it a bit sort of offensive that people can't sort of, pronounce his name. Well, I don't even pronounce his name, get his name correct. Like, he's the worst Prime Minister since the last one.
Since the last one, yeah. Everybody would say that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But imagine if we'd have called Boris Johnson, like 50% of the time we'd have called him like Horace Johnson or Morris Johnson or whatever, something like that. It would have been like a flag of some sort. So is it
a flag?
Is it like a I don't know, is it something is it like a, what's the word? When people call people
a nickname.
Nickname, that's it.
Right.
Is it a nickname? But it's I don't know, what is it?
Well, why do we call him Richie?
Yeah.
It's because Richie Rich, surely. It's because he is rich.
You reckon? Is it because people just can't be bothered to say Rishi?
No, I think it's Richie Rich, the cartoon character.
No, because like sensible people, in the news and stuff like that will call him Richie Sunak.
Oh,
has no one noticed this? I'm surprised that no one's mentioned this before.
Richie, no, no.
It's very different to Rishi, isn't it? I mean,
it is.
Well, have you not noticed that?
It's Rishi is absent a T, which is what you're complaining about or highlighting, to put it more accurately.
T as well, I'd imagine. But,
Richie is what you're suggesting is people call it.
It's a different name entirely.
It is a different name entirely. Well, maybe we could do with a different Prime Minister entirely.
Touché.
And then we could call them whatever their name is without impediment.
Okay.
All right, good work. Thanks a lot, Phil. Will says, if you leave private school and are totally useless... if you leave private school and are totally useless at everything, then there's a career in politics for you. Or you could be a talk show host. Chris says, my wife and kids have bought me a fish tank and bought 6 fish, one of which is called Fishy Sunak. Fishy Sunak. See what you've started? Even my kids think you're funny, says Chris. I am not funny. Nothing funny about me. Take that back. Fishy Sunak. Nige texts, how rude you were talking to Margaret from Durham about the North East. I'm going to ask all the pubs in the region to ban you. P.S. Could you please text a picture of yourself back so that we know what you actually look like in case you try to sneak in? Thanks, says Geordie Nige. Absolutely, Geordie Nige. I will definitely not do that straight away. Ranjit.
Hi, mate. You okay?
Yes, I am super. Thanks for asking. How's business this time of year, Ranjit?
A bit slow, to be honest.
It's a bit slow, right.
Quite a few people are saying the same thing.
Are you going to be open on Christmas Day?
No, sir. I am packed tomorrow evening about this time. I should be home opening up a beer, and we don't come back till the 3rd of January because the reason is it's hard to get supplies. Yeah, you have to freeze everything down, and you've got to shut down for 2 days, open for another 2. And you know, back in the day, if you had a bad day, it wasn't so bad. But now, when you have a bad day, you actually lose money.
Right.
So we can't afford to lose. And everybody that's been coming in has been saying the same thing. You deserve a break, and you know what? They all understand because they're all having little bits of less stuff than what they used to. So
they all have what?
They're not having as much stuff as they used to. You know where they used to have large fish.
That's your other line there, Ranjit.
No, I've turned it off. It's all right. Anyway, it's probably someone listening online, yeah?
Yes.
And they're phoning me because loads of people have got my number. They ring me
They'll
up.
be like, hey, Ranjit, you're on the radio. And you're like, yeah, I know that.
I know that. When you was, on a wish, hopefully I will phone in tomorrow as well and get on.
Well, let's not get carried away.
No, yeah. And the other thing is, right, Rishi Sunak, he can put as many asylum seekers as he wants, right, in Catterick or wherever he is in North Yorkshire.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't got a chance of winning his seat at all, let alone him winning the next general election. Yeah.
I can't believe that he's actually bothered. I mean, if I were him, I would have just skipped away a long time ago. Why is he so keen to keep hold of a job that he is patently unsuited for? I don't get it. Other than he has found a way to make even more money.
I mean, after a while, making so much money can become, I don't know, not an aphrodisiac
addictive.
for him.
It's an addiction.
Addiction, yeah. But the thing is, it's a vanity project for him, right? He's been the first non-white Prime Minister of Great Britain, yeah? So he's done that thing now. He's probably bored now and thinking, come on. Force me to cause a general election. Force me, right? So he can get out.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, having taken the top job, to just get slung out in embarrassing circumstances will probably puncture his delicate ego. So he wants to try to win, and I bet if he did win, he'd give it up almost straight away. Yeah, I bet if he won the next general election, he would say, OK, well, I managed to secure this historic victory, and now I will pass the baton on to, whichever chump you come up with next. And he'll swan off to live a billionaire's lifestyle in California.
Who's he going to pass it on to?
It doesn't really matter at this point. It could be the dustbin around the back of the building would do a better job.
It could be a lump of lard, couldn't it, really,
yes.
To be honest with you?
Yeah.
And
I say let the cat have a go.
That's not a cat, that's a dog. But if he wants to be a cat, he can be a cat, right? The other thing, when you were saying, the English and the Welsh and the Irish and the English.
Everybody hates everybody else.
Well, you never say to an Indian, are you Pakistani? And vice versa. You never say to an Italian, are you Sicilian? Right? And when
wait a minute, Sicilians are Italian.
No, they're not. You go to Nick Ferrari, yeah, and say, mate, are you a Sicilian? And see what he does here. Yeah. All right.
Okay, well, thanks for the warning.
No, yeah, I'll give you a warning in advance, right? When I used to be a truck driver...
Duck and cover. Yes.
Yeah. When I used to be a truck driver, people used to come to me and say, "Oh, Ranjit, are you Indian or are you Pakistani?"
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I say, "Well, I'm actually British."
I'm from Oldbury, you'd say.
Oldbury, yeah, right. And I said, "Hang on, it was where your parents come from." I said, Smethwick, like that.
Oh, this sounds like a conversation you'd have with one of the flunkies of the Royal Family. No, where are you from?
Oh, no. And then I say, "Why do you ask?" They say, "You look the same." So after a while, I got a bit fed up. Yeah.
Yes.
I said to them, "Hey, listen, John, are you English or are you
John,
Irish?"
that was his name, was it? John what?
Yeah, John.
Of where?
Yeah.
What's his address?
I can't say. Right. And then I say, I'm English, of course I'm English.
Yes.
Right. I said,
well, everybody's from somewhere else if you just look back far enough. That's just,
I know, but I said, why? I said, why? I thought you was Irish. He said, why? I said, you all look the same to me. And eventually, you've got to...
Hey, that other line is very, very important, Ranjit. It's probably your stockbroker. He wants to warn you of an impending disaster. I would take that call straight away, if not sooner, Ranjit. Thanks a lot, mate. 0345 6060 973. Hey, did we take the break yet? Huh? No. No. Well, I better do that right now then, eh?
This is LBC. Leading Britain's conversation. Nick Abbott. Alexa, send a comment to LBC.
You're wondering what it's all about, and I can't tell you because I don't know myself.
Naomi texts, Nick, check out Liz Truss's Christmas message and photo on Twitter. I need you to see it and comment. How dare she talk about lack of self-awareness? And in case I had missed that story, my glamorous assistant gave me a link to Liz Truss's Christmas message. Sadly, though, that link is to a story about Liz Truss's Christmas message from 2 years ago. Are you listening to me?
Yes, I'm listening.
And?
Yes.
2 years ago?
2 years ago?
Yeah.
I'm very sorry, I'm poor at my job.
Well, that makes two of us. Between us, we would be good at one job. Like two. If we pooled our talent, then we could probably kid on that we were good at just one job. But I have not seen Liz Truss's Christmas message and photo, which is a great disappointment to me, but I bet my glamorous assistant will pull it up pretty soon, if not quicker. Ashford. Hello, Milan.
Nick, you all right?
Yes, great, mate. Seen any good films lately?
I saw Thanksgiving. It's a very good film.
Thanksgiving?
Yeah, I really recommend that.
Is that where, like, some young people go to a hut in the middle of the woods and they want to have a Christmas dinner and they end up being Christmas dinner?
Close. Is an incident happened, and then on Thanksgiving, and a year later on Thanksgiving, there's a serial killer in this town.
I know what you did last Thanksgiving. That kind of thing.
That kind of thing, and then you kind of have to figure out who is that serial killer, and it's kind of twists and turns. It's really good. And
it's the guy that you saw at the beginning of the film that told you not to go into that abandoned fairground.
And they pulled off the mask, the Scooby-Doo.
Yes.
It was like, oh my God. Yeah. So, but however, I almost turned into, can I say, a serial killer when, why is it people want to have a chat in the cinema when in the film? They're not in their living room.
No.
And they have the noisiest food ever.
Well, the noisiest food that's ever been invented is popcorn. Because it comes in a drum, which magnifies the sound, and it doesn't really satisfy you, but it just sort of, it's not satisfying other than to satisfy the need to just keep shoveling things in your mouth, because it disappears into quite a small amount, so you don't get full necessarily, but you just got this thing where it's hand to mouth, so it's kind of like a baby suckling on the teat. Oh.
Disgusting.
And... And so that's what it is. I don't know, how hungry are you, people, for crying out loud? Can you not just wait 2 hours and go and eat afterwards?
Yeah, I know. It's like some people think like a picnic basket. I mean, half the time I'm expecting Yogi Bear and Boo Boo to turn up. I mean, this isn't like it's ridiculous. It's
is.
Like
you're not going to die if you don't eat for 2 hours.
Exactly. And these places that I haven't actually been to one because I know it would annoy me immensely, but there are places that are like a cross between a restaurant and a cinema, where you sit at tables and somebody comes around and takes your order and then delivers your food and your drink during the course of the film. How? I mean, that's just a big no for me. And furthermore, no. I've discovered that you don't need to go to the cinema anymore. All you have to do is wait about a month, and then everything that you want will be available for cheaper on a streaming service near you. I just had a total menu of streaming films in my Christmas, because I'm about to start, well, I'm starting it right now. This is a run of, I can't remember how many shows, like 10 in a row or something like that. And so I always have my Christmas before Christmas. And this year I had written out, I made a list of the films that I wanted to enjoy on each night. And I managed to rent every single one of them.
Oh, brilliant. So I'll take a leaf out of your book.
Yeah.
But, it's too stressful going to the cinema, especially when I need a pin drop silence. But
exactly.
I was going to... So you mentioned earlier Rishi Sunak...
I know, by the way, you weren't. I know, by the way, you weren't remotely interested in which films I saw, but that's okay. That's taught me a lesson.
No, but I knew it's going to be Tom Cruise films, isn't it? Okay, which films?
Well, I started with because I'd seen it before and I wasn't that impressed. No, I wanted something with pizzazz to start the season, so I thought I'll revisit Steven Spielberg's version of. Romeo and Juliet. What's it called?
Oh, what? Cruel Intentions?
No. When you're a jet, you're a jet. When you're a jet. You know, the Romeo and Juliet with the song, where my glamorous assistant's waving his hands in the air like he just don't care. Yes?
West Side Story
is the right answer, yes. The Steven Spielberg version of West Side Story, which I had seen once, and I thought, when I first saw it, I thought, well, what was the point of that? It wasn't any better than the original. Why go through all that effort? This time around, did you ever get that? You see a film, sometimes I will see a film and I'll just leave it after 5 minutes thinking this is absolute rubbish, and then I'll revisit it later and watch the whole thing and think, oh, wow, that was absolutely amazing. It's about mood, isn't it? You just either are or aren't in the right mood. So I saw that, and it was so good, I saw it twice. And then, you are quite right, it was Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise, yeah.
In the most recent Mission Impossible, which, I don't know, too much talking, really. They could have cut out about half an hour of talking.
Yeah, I agree.
And just gone with the chasing, because the stunts were brilliant. But just too much talking. It just dragged the whole thing to a stop. And then, I watched It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. Have you ever seen that?
Oh, wow, yeah. Love that film.
I love that film. Great. It's hilarious. The funniest thing in it is Ethel Merman. I mean, she is hysterical. But it's on YouTube. It's one of those films that doesn't come around very much, and I thought I'm going to have a real difficult time trying to find it. But I found it straight away, and then I thought, well, I'm going to have to rent it on YouTube on my TV. And I've got no idea what my YouTube password is. It's just all in my computer, and it comes up automatically. So I can't remember what it was, and so I thought, oh, God, this is going to be a right nightmare. And I'm going to have to use you know, on your TV, it comes up with a QWERTY keyboard, and you have to move the cursor up and down and make a word, and it takes about 3 hours. It takes longer to try to get the film than it does to watch it. But it could not have been easier. I was stunned. I went on YouTube, I asked it for that film. It came up with a QR code, which I hit with my phone. I pressed maybe 2 buttons on my phone, and I had it, and it was ready to go. I was amazed.
Technology, eh? Yeah,
I know. Awesome. So it's got to the point now where you don't need to go to the cinema. You just don't.
That's sad. I love the cinema. But no, actually, before I talk about Rishi Sunak, just a question, if you know the answer, because I don't. Remember all that films used to be around 90 minutes, and all of a sudden they've started to be like 3 hours plus. Why?
Well, there used to be 2 hours, and then it just started creeping up and up and up. And if you're Martin Scorsese, then you get to add an extra hour on top of the longest film you've ever seen. And, suddenly we're on a 3.5-hour film, which is what that thing with the nuclear power, Oppenheimer, that's about 3.5 hours, isn't it?
Oh, God, intermission. I haven't seen that yet.
You know what? You say intermission, but it's a mad world. I thought, and I was overwhelmed with how easy it was to get it. And then it started in the music, but it has started with a black screen. And I thought, oh, great, I've just got the audio, but not the video. I'll call up YouTube. I don't even know if such a thing is possible, but I seriously doubt it. But no, it was like a what do you call it? Like a prologue, not a prologue, but the suite of music before a show starts, and it was about 3 minutes of just black screen and music. I've never seen that before. And about halfway through the film, it came up with intermission. And the last time I saw it, I was in a cinema, and it came up with intermission, was in the Skyscraper film that had absolutely everybody in it.
Skyscraper film?
Yeah, it had... absolutely everybody was in this movie. Fred Astaire was in this movie.
Right. Don't know about
no, it was in it was like the 1970s. Paul Newman was in the movie. I think just everybody. Like
Inferno.
Maybe it was Inferno. Yeah, but sadly, we've come to the end of our time, and you didn't even get around to what you wanted to talk about. Oh well, better luck next time. Towering Inferno. That's what it was. All right, thanks a lot, Milan. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's at LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC. It's just past 11:30. The news headlines with Daryl Jackson.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Right, so what are we doing?
Given we are talking about the films that I've seen over the course of the Christmas period so far, and I maintain this is an excellent selection. West Side Story, the new version, which is better in every way to the old version, which I think was on today, wasn't it? Mission Impossible, which is okay, but gets dragged down in the middle by about half an hour where they just talk and talk and talk, as though we're morons and we can't keep up with the story. Which initially is good, because I am a moron and I can't keep up with the story. But, I mean, you know, you only need to tell me twice. You don't need to tell me 5, 6, 7 times. I get it. It's a key. You want the key. And a mad world, which is one of the funniest films ever made. And I paused when I was talking to Milan just now, because I knew that there was another film, and I couldn't bring to mind what it was. And the final of my 4 Christmas films in a row, each of which was excellent in its own regard, was Barbie.
What?
Yeah, I saw Barbie. There, I've said it. I saw Barbie. You believe that? I hesitated so long before seeing it, because I actually wanted to see the Oppenheimer thing, but I didn't realise at the time that you could rent it now. Apparently you can. I didn't think that you could. Plus, it's 3 hours, and is it very Christmassy? Not really. But Barbie, I thought, as a precursor to Mad World, I thought, well, all right then. Maybe I'll read some reviews and see what it's like. But I thought, well, you know what? The amount of reviews I've seen of films that they give 5 stars to, they're absolute rubbish, is like, what's the point? So I'll just splurge on it and have something in reserve in case I don't like it. It was funny. I mean, I would, if it would have required me to go to the cinema, I would never, ever have gone. I just wouldn't have gone. But because it can be delivered up your house almost instantaneously, you want it, I thought, yeah, why not? Give it a go. It's a funny film. It really is. I was surprised how much I liked it. I mean, I laughed out loud quite a lot. And it was just good. It sounds as though I'm apologising. Apologising for seeing Barbie.
I am very sorry that I screwed up. Totally I mean, I am so sorry. You just don't know how sorry I am. I'm sorry.
I'm not sorry. Glyn texts, I thought his name was Titchy Suit Rack, not Suit Rack, because what's a suit rack? Suit size. Jane texts, with Labour, we are not sure in capital letters. With Mr. Tice and team, we are very sure they're going to defend our country. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
With Mr. Tice and team, we are very sure, in capital letters, they are going to defend our country. And our is in capital letters as well.
Warning, warning.
Uh-oh. The first job of government, but their name, by the way... Shall I read it as it's written? The first job of government, full stop. But their name, question mark. By the way, full stop. To defend England properly, we have guide and help others correctly, full stop. Something that has never been done, says Jane. I'll sum up that message for you. Kevin says, you need a cat noise, like a meow maybe, or maybe even a lion's growl, particularly when you're talking about the new look Steer Karma. A cat noise? I've got one. Kieran says, I've got 0 qualifications and need extra job perks to get my energy bills totally covered. Maybe I should go into politics. Yes, Kieran. Why not? It can't be that hard. West Devon. Hello, Rose.
Oh, hello, Nick.
Rose.
Well, yes. I was standing in the kitchen listening to you, and...
Have you got no seats?
Well, I was at the sink, you see. Oh, I do hate all that stuff.
Right.
I keep getting out of breath.
What, standing at the sink?
No, just getting up and sitting down.
Oh.
Never mind. I was thinking about what it was, what I was wanting to phone up and say.
Mm.
And then you said it. It was just... Do you know, I don't want to be funny, but this has happened quite often, actually.
Right,
I've been
well,
thinking something,
don't worry, Rose. You're not being funny.
And then... and then you said it. Anyway...
What is?
Well, in this case, it's the solstice. You said
the
it
solstice.
today. Yeah.
Yes.
And the sunset, having set in a certain place today, will be slightly to the right tomorrow.
No, I don't think it will be. I'm not sure that it will be tomorrow, because I think that there's a point at which it stops going left and then starts to come right, but there's a moment of stasis, and I think there's like a couple of days where it doesn't shift at all, and then it will start hurtling its way across the horizon.
Yes, the sun.
Yes.
The sun going round us. Yeah, that's right. Oh, I didn't realise the stasis bit. But you see, I wanted to phone you and
you
and
did
say how I how I discovered you. You see, because I'm very into anniversaries, and it's exactly this time ago, 2 years ago, when I was in my last proper home, and the funny thing was that it was a full moon as well as the solstice. And apparently that full moon, for some reason, is called a Gemini moon, and which is associated with the oak tree. I love all stuff like that. And I looked out, and it was a clear night, and there it was, poised above one of the oaks in the field. So out I went, and I stood in the light of the moon as it came across the grass, and I stood there in the field, and I looked up at it, and I asked for help. And anyway, I was out there quite a long time, and
yelling at the moon.
I went in.
Yes.
Yes. Come on, do something.
Yes. Yes.
And so I went back in, and I thought, I know, I'll try that LBC I've just heard about.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I switched it on, and there you were. And Nick, I just went, aye, I said, this is incredible. This is for me. Because I had never heard anybody say exactly what I was, and I know other listeners have said the same thing. I was walking about saying to myself, and you said these things, and actually you even choose the same words quite a lot of the time. And I know I'm not the only one who's saying this. And anyway, I thought, well, this wasn't actually what I asked the moon for, a radio programme, but I thought it'll do to be going along with.
Right.
You know?
Like a consolation prize.
Yes. You can't have your nice home, but you can have
No.
Nick Abbott. Well, you can't actually have Nick Abbott, but you can have him on the radio.
Every now and again, yeah.
Every now and again, yeah. But of course, obviously, I mean, I've learned lots from you as well. I mean, there's so much more.
Oh,
than
well, this is an
there's the
educational
humour,
show.
which
yeah.
is what I love.
Mhm.
Yeah, but it was so weird thinking, Christ, somebody is saying these things.
Yes,
You know,
finally.
because I hadn't heard any of it on the radio, and you don't fanny around. There's so many people one thinks, you know, yes, they are criticising the government, but they just hold back.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I can't be doing with it. You know?
Well,
thank you.
I've got to let it out. I can't keep it in. I've got to let it out. Got to tell the world. The world's got to know.
Yes.
Sing!
Oh, is that a song?
Yeah,
Right.
it is, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember who sang it, apart from me just now.
Yeah. Yes, and I can't remember who sang. Mind you, it was so long ago. It might be. It was raindrops, not raindrops.
Raindrops keep falling on my head.
Very well.
Yes.
Yeah, that was Paul Newman and.
Well, he didn't sing it.
Ian
Raindrops
Sunderland.
Keep Falling on My
No, he
Head
didn't
was
sing it,
by Bobby. No, it wasn't Bobby Goldsborough, was it? Oh, it's
don't
going to
know.
annoy me now.
Oh, I know. But I won't be able. I didn't know it in the first place. I don't think. And the other one I thought of was this. I'm just about to sing it, but that won't work.
No.
Listen to the rhythm of the falling rain. Da 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 da. But that was 1966, and I can't remember who that was.
Wow.
It wasn't somebody really well known. Ring a bell?
Yes.
You know
Oh,
it.
absolutely. Yeah, I know it. Yeah. Despite your
I
best
loved it.
efforts to disguise the
Yeah.
tune. Well, don't let me keep you from yelling at the sky, Rose. But to try to keep the noise down, got people trying to sleep over here.
Yes, all right then.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, good work. Thanks a lot, Rose. Cheers, my dear. It's the solstice, people. Yeah, my phone's just burst into life. Hi, how can I help? It says. You can't. Stop listening to me. Hi, Nick, your Google Assistant here. There's a lot I can help with. Here are a few popular actions. Wind... Oh, will you stop it? I find that really alarming, don't you? Because it does mean that it's listening to you all the time. All the time. I mean, if it's just waiting for the magic phrase, okay, or if you got the other one, then and it bursts into life when it hears that phrase, that does imply that it's listening to you all the time. And I'm sure the manufacturers would say, oh, no, it's in a permanent sleep mode until it hears the magic phrase. Well, how would it hear the magic phrase if it wasn't listening to you all the time? What's more alarming is that it's probably watching you all the time as well, because not only have you got a camera on the back of your phone, but you've got a camera on the front of your phone. And can you think of anything that you do during the day while looking at your phone that you might not want a picture of? Exactly. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's at LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
LBC. Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Some nobody.
0345 6060 973. Chrissy texts, don't moan about long movies. I've got a kid who's an opera singer, and I sometimes have to sit through 4 days 4 days of screeching and warbling in a language I don't understand. And I have to pretend I like it, says Chrissy. Yeah, opera. I just cannot get on with opera. I can't. If I want to see people screaming at each other, I'll go hang out at the bus stop. Maria says, I just saw Maestro with Bradley Cooper. Absolutely loved it. It's on Netflix. And would you believe I paid £33 for 2 tickets at the Everyman Cinema?
What?
How much? If you haven't tried the Everyman Cinema, you must try it. You have waiter service and can have a glass of vino during the movie.
Booze.
Oh, that just sounds awful. No. I mean, how thirsty are you, for crying out loud? Just sit there and shut up. But I wish you all the best, Maria. No, I don't want table service in a cinema. If I want table service, I'll go to a restaurant. And neither do I want to go to a restaurant that's got, like TVs on. Because you can't look at anything else. You just can't. We are designed, the human beings, to be attracted to things that move, for our own protection and safety. And so when TVs are on, they've got moving images, and you just can't, despite your trying, you can't look at anything else. You just can't. So I don't want a screen in a restaurant, and I don't want a restaurant at a screen. I hope that's clear. Let's have Eileen in Dublin. Hello, Eileen.
Nick?
Eileen.
Nick, thank you for taking my call.
Well, thank you for making your call.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
First of all, may I wish you a happy Christmas and New Year.
Thanks, Eileen, and you.
I absolutely love your 3 shows.
Oh.
First of all, when I actually initially rang up, you were talking about politics, and I said to your producer, be careful what you wish for, because I so hope the Labour Party gets in the next election.
Yeah, it's the one after that's the issue.
No, Nick.
Yes.
I do. No, I don't want them to get in a landslide. I don't, because a landslide victory is not good for democracy.
I probably agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he will.
Now,
it does look like he's going to get a landslide victory.
I can't believe I'm talking to you.
Well, I can't believe I'm talking to you either. Where have you been all this time?
Oh, listening to you.
Oh, right. Lurking.
Lurking in the background.
In the shadows.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
That's the best place to be.
Yeah, I would agree that it's probably not good for democracy if a party that gets less than half the votes gets 100% of the power, which is what we've suffered under the Tories for what seems like an epoch.
Yes, maybe, but that's that. Now, so that's why I rang up, and since then, you've gone on to another subject.
Oh, well, about 6 or 7 subjects. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to say to you, in Irish TV today, West Side Story was on. The original.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved it, Nick.
It's great, but the new one is better.
Well, how do you get hold of the new one?
You have to dial it up on the World Wide Wait there, Eileen, and it'll be streamed to your delight. Trust me. Have you got Sky?
I do.
Well, there you
I'm
are.
signed up to everything.
Wow, I can only dream of being signed up to everything. But if that is the case, then you can get the new version of West Side. You can get anything you blooming well like, Eileen. It's your right. You've paid for it.
Oh, Nick, I absolutely love your shows.
Well, I appreciate it, Eileen, and I wish you all the best with that.
You have to get some new. Do you know James O'Brien?
Yes.
I think it was yesterday or the day before. Mentioned one of your jingles, and I think he played it.
Oh, which one?
And I wasn't pleased. Don't ask me.
Not this again. I had to disguise this. I had to call it something else just so that other people on the station wouldn't play it. I did that. I have engaged in subterfuge.
Can I ask you?
No.
Where do you get them from?
Honestly, here, there and everywhere. Some of them I've been playing for decades. both here, there, and everywhere. And others, people either say you should get this, or I just come across them in in my ordinary everyday life.
But do you ever kind of do something yourself?
What does that mean?
Do your own jingles?
Oh, no. No, it's all found stuff. Yeah, found.
Why not?
Because, I mean, I can do it live. I mean, if I'm going to say something, I'll just say it live. I don't need me on one of these buttons.
And guess what?
What?
I'm living for... I'm living for your A to a Z.
A to Z, yes, that starts on Christmas Eve, Eileen. It's a date, don't be late. Christmas Eve, 10 p.m, all right.
And I'm just living... I'm lying in bed here with my little Maltese dog.
Oh.
He's on top of...
Is that one of them yappy dogs?
No. He's very nice, but he's sitting on my head.
On your head? Right.
I have two pillows.
Well, it's just... Right.
And he's sitting on my head.
Is that how you carry him around? You take him for walks with... by balance, like the old Covent Garden mongers used to carry around their wares in baskets on their heads. That's how you take the dog for a walk, Eileen. Have him sit on a cushion on your head. I'd like to see that. Eileen, I'm going to have to go, but thanks for that. Cheers, my dear. John says, I think calling our Premier politicians by disparaging nicknames is disgraceful, like with poor Seven Bins Sunak. Your requirement to have 7 bins. Cancelled. Chrissy says... No, I've read that, about the about the blooming opera. 4 days of screeching and warbling in a language that she doesn't understand. Can you believe that? That sounds like a cruel and unusual punishment. Archie says, speaking of festive films, one feel-good flick that stands the test of time is The Sting with Paul Newman and Robert Shaw. It's always a refreshing triumph of good over evil. What? Don't tell us. Yeah, The Sting's all right. I think it was because Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid had been so successful, and Paul Newman and the other guy had worked so well. What's his name? Robert Redford. That they thought, well, we're going to have to do something with them. We must do it straight away. Some of these might not be facts, but I'm going to blurt them out loud, and by that method, they will become true. We're going to have to make a film straight away with Robert Redford and the other one, Paul Newman. And so it was The Sting, which I think, it's good, but it's not brilliant. It's not Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. But it's fine. It's an amusement. It's a sort of an afternoon film rather than the main feature at night. Do you know what I mean? 0345 6060. I hope that you're writing all this stuff down, by the way, because it will be on the test. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10, Nick Abbot, LBC. Just time to remind you that this show and the Saturday night shows and all of the A to Zs, when they start, will be put up the internet as podcasts, which means it takes less time to listen to because we take the news and most of the ads out, mostly. Therefore, taking less time to listen to, you'll use less electricity. And with the money you save, you'll be able to buy a last-minute Christmas card for that relative that you forgot.
On your radio, on Global Player, and
Play LBC.
Leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC. This is LBC from Global. Leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbot.
Hello.
about, Nick. Listen, now, what I'm trying to say to you is this, Nick, right?
Right, let's clear up a couple of musical points. Lou texts, raindrops keep falling on my head was Sasha Distel, wasn't it? No. Not Sasha Distel. I just looked it up. If my life had depended on it, I would not have been able to remember this bloke's name. B.J. Thomas.
What?
B.J. Thomas. You ever heard of him? No, me neither. Raindrops are falling on my head. And just like the guy whose feet are too big for his bed, nothing seems to fit. And etc. and so on. He's riding around on his bicycle, and amusement ensues. So I guess I was going to say something about the end of the film, but then I thought there's always going to be an entire generation of people who have never seen that film. Just like there's always going to be an entire generation of people who have never heard Dark Side of the Moon. What? I know that's hard to believe, but it's true. So there's millions and probably hundreds of millions, if not billions of people who have never seen Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Just because it's old doesn't mean to say everybody has seen it. So I will not ruin it for you by saying that, no, I won't. I won't. And you can thank me now.
Thank you.
And as for Rhythm of the Falling Rain, listen to the rhythm of the falling rain, telling me just what a fool I've been. That one. The Cascades. I wouldn't have remembered that either. There's stuff you learn on this show. Educational, no?
No.
Lucy says, talking about smartphones being too smart, how do they know what you're thinking? Without even saying anything out loud, an ad or reel will pop up correlating exactly what I thought of. Well, this is not the first time I've heard that. Now, it's possible that you were thinking of it because of some external stimulus. In other words, you heard it on the radio, you heard it on TV, or you were just having a conversation about it with somebody else, or you just looked it up on the internet, and it is all connected. I mean, it sort of freaks me out when I go to a site, and I can't remember what my password is, but it says simply log in using your Google account. And it highlights your Google account, and I just click on my name, and it knows the password. How the hell does it know that? I mean, it's good that it's easier, but it's a little bit alarming that my phone knows more about me than I know about me. And it's not just guessing correctly what I'm thinking. It is listening all the time. I mean, I don't know that this is true, but it doesn't prevent it from being a fact. It's listening all the time, and it's paying attention to what you are listening to and reacting to. And if sunglasses is on the front of your mind, as well as the front of your face, then it will give you lots of ads for sunglasses. Here's a word of warning.
Warning.
2 words of warning. Don't ever look up anything on the internet, because it doesn't forget. If you look up sunglasses, you will be getting adverts for sunglasses from now until the end of time. Blooming raining outside. 0345 6060 973. Luton, Adam.
Hey, how's it going?
Yes, great, mate.
Good. So I just wanted to call up earlier when I heard you mention Catterick, Garrison and Rishi Sunak's constituency.
Yes.
Because I briefly lived there for a little moment of madness after lockdown. Because obviously I'm originally from London, and obviously being in London and Luton during lockdown, I really wanted a stark contrast and thought I'd move to the place I saw on the telly. You know, that show, All God's Creatures, Small and Large or whatever.
No. What's that?
There's a TV show. It's a TV show about a rural vet. I mean, it's not the most exciting of shows, but
one of those.
Obviously when you're stuck in a house with no garden, at the time, I wanted the complete opposite.
Yes.
But can I quickly just say one point, just because that was what I called up for. You know, you were talking about watching things on Amazon or Netflix.
Netflix.
Have you seen Saltburn? Is that on your list of shows to watch? Because that's just come on, and I was quite surprised because I thought that was still in the cinema.
I don't know what that is. Saltburn.
Oh, it's a really popular show. Everyone film. It done really well. It's got the Irish guy who's like the new hot kid on the block. Everyone's impressed by. And also, Many Saints of Newark has come onto Netflix, and I feel like you would like that because obviously it's the story of Tony Soprano.
Right, it's a gangster thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, it's the next. Well, it's like the post Tony Soprano, now that he's passed away, film, and they used his son to play him.
No, wasn't it the a previous
Saints of Newark?
Right, but wasn't it supposed to be a prequel, not a sequel?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Prequel. Right. My bad.
Yeah. Okay, well, these are all on my list. Yes. What else?
Well, yeah, watch it. I don't know. It'd be good to hear your thoughts on it, because I don't know if I love it. I feel like they should have not done it, because it's ruining my legacy of The Sopranos.
Right. Yeah, I think there's some things you should just leave alone. Yeah.
Absolutely. So back to Rishi Sunak's constituency. I don't know if you've ever had the misfortune of visiting Carrick Garrison.
No.
But I was quite shocked when I went there, just because I took a job, obviously, post-lockdown in the constituency of Rishi in Richmond, which is really beautiful. It's a really lovely Richmond. It's a tale of two cities, I guess, because Richmond is where the wealthy people live. It's beautiful. It's like ex-Viking castles and rolling hills and, independent bakeries and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And Catterick, oh my God, it's a place like hope went to die. And obviously that's why I had to go and look, because I couldn't afford to rent in Richmond because it's insane.
Yeah.
The prices. But Catterick is where most of the, much like the BB Stockholm, where they sent a lot of the military people to live.
Yes, barracks.
Yeah. And but I was so shocked at how what's the polite word?
Insalubrious.
Yeah, they are expected to live in. I mean, like Americans always go on about like how much they love their servicemen and women,
and military,
so
and they treat them accordingly. In this country, on the other hand, not so much.
Worse than a sinker state.
Yeah, well,
they didn't even have trees. I couldn't believe it. It's so depressing. It looked like a commie block.
Right, I was talking about this last weekend, and people are freaking out because the military is at its lowest ebb. There's been, I don't think in this country we've ever had such a relatively small number of people in our military. And I would suggest that two of the biggest reasons for that are A, they don't get paid nothing, and B, they are required to live in the most hideous accommodation.
Oh, it's hot. But like the old Glasgow and tenement buildings, it was so horrible. And obviously that's where I had to rent, because I needed to get to Yorkshire Dales and Richmond and stuff like that, and it was the only affordable place. But and when I was there, I was what really surprised me is the amount of like Gurkhas and people from Fiji who have like, it's a real big deal for them to come and, because they're ex-colonies or I don't know what the link is to England, but they really feel proud to come over here. And when they see where they have to live...
until they get here, yeah.
And so if that's where we're trying to sell, we're trying to punish... Is it a punish? I would like to say it's a punishment for the refugees that we're putting them in there. But at the same time, if it's seen as a punishment that we're putting the asylum seekers, in this place, how much of a slap in the face is it for our actual service people who were expected to live there before we thought it was a punishment?
Yes. That's a good point. Yeah, that is a good point.
Rishi Sunak's constituency is almost like a micro sample of the rest of this country, in that there is a real problem with the rich and poor, like I've said. The nearest train station is 26 miles away in Darlington, which is where they're going to be moving the civil service. But, I mean, the petrol station in Richmond burnt down. The people in Reef, I understand that Dales is really rural, so it's not maybe this is a problem that isn't exclusive to Rishi's area, but I was quite surprised that people volunteered their free time, unpaid, to run a community bus to bring people to the nearest bus stop 13 miles away. The petrol station burnt down, when I used to travel in...
Wait a minute, they have a bus service to take you to the bus stop? That's how remote it is.
Because it's off. There's so much of that's off the grid.
Yeah.
And I understand that if you're wealthy, that's fine. You probably have a Range Rover that you can go on the beaten road for. But for the people who are old and shouldn't be driving, I don't know why you're driving, but they have to, because it's so far away to get to the nearest. As I said, the nearest train station is Darlington.
Right, well, the key here,
26 miles away.
Yes, but the key here, Adam, is if you have a choice, decide to be rich. and then none of the above will be affecting you in any way, shape or form. And Fishy has made his decision.
This government.
Yeah, he knows the wisdom of being born to rich parents. Why poor children can't just be born to rich parents, I don't know. They only have themselves to blame. Thanks a lot, Adam. 0345 6060 973. This says the population of Catterick has exploded over the last 200 years. Do you want to guess by how much? Well, I assume that... this is a question coming in from my glamorous assistant, by the way. The population of Catterick has exploded over the last 200 years. You want to guess by how much? I would imagine that it's... Because of the nature of the question, I think that I detect a hint of sarcasm, so I would bet that over the last 200 years it hasn't actually increased at all. Is that right?
It's gone up by a grand total of 600 people.
600 people in 200 years. We're full. (0345 6060 973). Archie text, speaking of festive films, Nick, one feel-good flick that stands the test... No, I've read that. Lucy says... No, read that one. I'm doing very well. Way ahead of schedule. Tina texts, you can have a bottle of anything sat in a dark cinema, but far too many people check their phones during a movie and then get upset when they're asked to turn them off. Godzilla is a genuinely good film at the moment. Yeah, I seriously doubt that. But, I think I'm through with cinema. Other people are just too annoying. They just are. I mean, ordinarily I would go in the afternoon at 2 o'clock during the week, because I haven't got a proper job, so I can do anything I blooming well like. I would definitely not go in the evening, and I would absolutely, certainly and totally never go in the weekend. But even if you go at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, there's still going to be somebody who does something annoying. I mean, apart from anything else, the place smells like feet. Doesn't it? That's the smell of old popcorn. It smells like people's feet, which is probably mixed with the smell of people's actual feet, because one of the first things they'll do is they'll take their shoes off and then realise quite quickly how sticky the floor is. What's it sticky with?
Disgusting.
Oh, don't even ask. But just everything about it is just... And that sort of tension, you plop yourself down... If you go in the afternoon, it's going to be you and maybe half a dozen people in a big, big cinema. And I just select the seat that I want to sit in, not the one that has been stamped on my ticket. Because, what kind of an idiot would want to do that? In an otherwise empty cinema, you're going to be peering at your ticket? But there's always somebody that does. Excuse me, you're sitting in my seat. Well, there's 86,000 other seats in this cinema. Why don't you go pick one of those? But you know me, I never complain.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
So it's at home for me from now on. I mean, they've just made it so easy. I could not believe how easy it was to rent Mad, 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 Mad World on YouTube, and the quality was superb. So everything that I thought of renting from one of those services, I thought it was going to be hard. I thought I was going to have to remember what my password is, or open an account with these people, and reply by email, and please what's the word when you reply to the email to make sure that you are the person that and two-step authentication, and are you a robot, that kind of thing.
Affirmative.
But it wasn't any of that. They just put one of them bizarre QR codes up on the screen. I flashed it, and inside of about 30 seconds, I had that film ready to go. I couldn't believe it. So if it's that easy, then I'm sorry, cinema, but from me, it's...
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. People. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
This is LBC. Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
And I can't stand him.
Chrissy texts, I have never heard Nick sound so much like Victor Meldrew before. Talk about being funny. No. No. She says, talk about being fussy and irascible. Get me a dictionary in here right now. I'm thinking of being offended. She says, does he like anything, or does he just want to live in a hermetically sealed bubble with a banjo, an endless supply of pizzas and a crossbow in case of people? Yes, actually that does sound great. Yes, I would like that, please. Colchester. Hello, Judy.
Oh, good morning now.
Judy.
Judy, yeah. I like it when you say that. When I rang up, it was to give the answers to raindrops keep falling on your head and the other. And Sasha Distel did record that.
Oh, no doubt. But do you remember who the original was by?
Well, I didn't, but when your producer answered the phone, he remembered that, and he
Nonsense.
also...
I bet he didn't. I bet he looked it up.
Well, I don't think he had time to do that, but before I could say the Cascades for the other one, he actually remembered it himself, and I said to him, well, you know, that was brilliant, because he's obviously a lot younger than me, and he remembers it. So
the Cascades. I seriously doubt that he remembered that either. I didn't remember it. I had to look that one up. I would have sat here from now until the end of time trying to think of the Cascades name.
Well, I don't know where it came from in my head. I mean, memories now. I met about 5 of us all together this morning in our little local coffee shop in our little village this morning, and we're all
in for a bevy.
In for a coffee, yeah, a coffee and a natter, and you sit by the window and you see half the village go by.
Yes.
But we were all laughing because we're all of an age, as the saying goes, and as we were talking, each of us in turn, we couldn't remember things. You know, you start talking and then you forget what you...
Yeah. Tell me about it.
But things that happened years ago...
Oh, yeah, perfect memory.
Yeah, you know, if you play the old... If that record by the Cascades was on,
yes,
I could sing it all through, know all the words. But
that's right.
What I did this time last week, I couldn't tell you.
Yes.
So it's a phenomena.
Listen to the rhythm of the falling rain.
Yes.
Telling me just what a fool I've been. There you go.
Yes, see?
I wish it would go and let me cry in vain. And let me be alone again.
Rock and roll!
Yes.
Well, I'm not alone. The other lady you were talking to had her little dog on her bed. Well, I've got my little rescue cat on my bed.
Oh, on her head, I think she had it.
Well, my cat is. I've not had her long because I had to have my little dog put to sleep, sadly. So I got a rescue cat, and she only has 3 legs.
Oh.
And I don't call her Lucky. Her name. Before either that, people say, I either say that her name must be Tripod or Lucky, but it's not.
Did you know that she only had 3 legs when you bought her? Because if you kept the receipt.
Oh no! I was specifically looking for an indoor cat,
right?
And I was looking at all the rescues regularly, and up she popped. And she'd been taken in as a road accident, I presume.
Right.
And the vets amputated her back right leg and a bit of her tail. And she needed, because she can't jump up, she can pull herself up on the bed or the sofa, but she can't jump up. So I offered her a home.
Good for you.
She's we've bonded.
That's a happy Christmas tale.
Yeah.
Well, not so much of a tail anymore, but more.
Well, no, it's
more
not.
of a stump.
She tries to chase it because cats do chase their tails.
They do,
but she thinks she's caught hold of it, but she hasn't. It pings up because she can't hold on to it.
Cats, endlessly fascinating.
Oh, certainly are. I wouldn't be without her. No, I wouldn't be without you at the weekend either.
Well, that's very nice of you, Judy. You're going to have more of me as of right now, because I'm going all the way through to the New Year's Day. That's one day after the A to Z finishes, and it starts on the 24th, which is not today, not tomorrow, but the day after, or something like that. Christmas Eve, 10 p.m. Make a date. Thanks a lot, Judy. Cheers, my dear. Irvin says, up the workers. Once the Conservatives are gone, it will be a lovely day. Keir Starmer is well hard in that military uniform. The outrage that Keir Starmer would dare to put on a military uniform. I think the Telegraph had some laugh-out-loud column about how outrageous it is that he has the nerve to don military attire. This is the same Telegraph newspaper, by the way, that had endless pictures of Liz Bloomin' Truss
absolutely
driving a bloomin' tank like she's Margaret Thatcher in military attire, and Mr. Blobby...
Yeah. Wait a minute.
He was always dressing up in other people's clothes. Work clothes. Other people's work clothes. You know, he didn't work in a factory, and he wasn't part of the military, and he wasn't a police person. What's astonishing is that they found uniforms that actually came in his size. No offence. But the Telegraph printed endless pictures of Bozza Johnson enjoying himself, having a joyride in a bloody bloomin' jet. Excuse me. Getting very emotional now. In a bloomin' jet, and dressing up in military attire and lobbing hand grenades and all the rest of that, but play school stuff that he engaged in while actually pretending to be running this country. But the Telegraph was completely fine with all of that. But when Keir Starmer does it, it's truth. It's just the worst thing they've ever seen in their lives. It used to be a paper. It used to be a newspaper, a good newspaper. Now it's just, I don't know, it's just silly. I like the cartoon on the front page and the crossword on the back page. It's everything in between that's the problem. 0345 6060 973. Chrissy says, read that one, and I've read Irvin. How many more have we got? Ooh, not that many. I've done quite well. Mike says, as the year draws to an end, I wanted to thank you for many, many amusing Friday, Saturday and Sunday evenings. The disdain you show the current state of politics mixed with your humour and serious questioning and general journalism is this message to me. Really looking forward to the A to Z of the year, says Mike. Well, appreciate it, Mike.
Thank you.
Rusty says, I have a film recommendation for you. The Russians are coming. Yes. Funny you should say that, because after I'd watched It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, the very next thing, it's, that pops up a list of things. If you like that, you'll like this. The very next one was The Russians Are Coming, which I have pulled something from.
Emergency, everybody to get from street. Emergency, everybody to get from street.
He says it stars Alan Arkin, who you've just heard there. It's about a Russian submarine that runs aground off a sleepy New England town. Well, don't tell us.
Warning.
Spoiler alert. Yes, the Russians are coming. I think that's next on my list. Dave says, I'm a Londoner living in North Carolina since 2006. I'm sick and tired of MAGA people acting like good old boys, driving cars that look like the vehicle from the Dukes of Hazzard. These people need help. Well, what are you doing over there, Dave, living in North Carolina? Mind you, it's probably more civilised than South Carolina, which is probably, beyond the pale. I have no idea. It's great out there, says the message from next door. That's where Mount Family are from. Mount Family? That doesn't make any sense. That's where Mount Family are from. MT, Mount Family. You're not making any sense. Now he's yelling at me. Tristan says, I have just watched Tetchy Snack's Eyes in last week's Prime Minister's Questions. He really did have a mini tantrum. I hear you were there. Did you see the bit where Lindsay Hoyle paused proceedings so someone could change Titch's nappy? Something was causing him discomfort. Yeah, I did. I was there. But because I couldn't see the Labour Party I couldn't see the Labour benches at all. So I couldn't see Keir Starmer, but I did watch it on television the day after to see if I'd missed anything, and I really did. I've got to tell you, it's much, much better watching it on television than it is watching it there, because there's no really good vantage point apart from where the journalists sit. I imagine the sketch writers were perched over in the good seats, right above the speaker. That's where you could see everything. Where I was, you could only see half of the action. I kind of missed everything. But, you know, if you're interested in that kind of thing, it is available. You think that there's no way you would be able to get in there, but you can. I mean, there was just loads of people. The thing that surprised me most of all, was how many members of the public were just milling around. I mean, OK, there's officious types in peaked caps who will yell at you if you haven't got your pass on straight. There was a lot of that. But, yeah, it's possible. You can go and have a look. Have a look at this sham democracy in action. I recommend it. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC. It's 12:30. The news headlines with Darryl Jackson.
Following days of negotiations, the UN Security Council has passed a resolution to send more aid into Gaza, but the revised statement has stopped short of calling for an immediate ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. Police in Prague say they found evidence linking the gunman who shot dead 14 people in the city yesterday with 2 murders last week. David Kozak opened fire at the university where he studied before killing himself. Greater Manchester Police have started a criminal investigation into the alleged child abduction of Alex Batty. He reappeared in France last week after going missing as an 11-year-old boy 6 years ago. LBC weather, another windy day today with wet and windy conditions in the north, drier in southern parts of the UK with some bright spells and highs of 12 degrees.
This is LBC. Leading Britain's conversation. Nick Abbott. Alexa, send a comment to LBC.
Well, the whole world's gone crazy.
Yes, the whole world has in fact gone crazy. Crayford, hello, Terry.
Oh, hi, Nick. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Terry.
First of all, just a little thing first. Mad World. The couple that get locked in the hardware store
yes.
is hilarious.
It is. It's the guys. There's so many hysterically funny scenes in that movie. Most of which have got Ethel Merman right at the centre. I think that she beats everybody for comedy in that film. But it's what's
she's
the name?
Not in the hardware store.
No, she's not in the hardware store. No, and I can't remember what the guy's name is. But he was a massive star on American TV.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'll come to me.
But where he keeps saying, trust me, and it just all falls apart. I think it's wonderful. But the point I wanted to make was, I think we need to shout out, actually, to the Conservative Party for turning the country to drugs.
What?
Apparently, we are the second country in the world with the highest cocaine use.
What?
Yeah, they've done a study, and the only country that beats us is Australia.
Australia?
Yep, Austria and Spain come third and fourth.
Do they?
And United States is fifth.
Austria? And that doesn't sound right.
Well, that's what they say. And apparently in this study, they have discovered that one person in 40 takes cocaine at least twice a week.
Right, that's probably not part of a nutritious breakfast, I wouldn't say. Sid Caesar, that's the name of the guy, Sid Caesar.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
But his wife in there needed cocaine, I think.
No. Well, thanks for bringing this to my attention, Terry. Keep your nose clean. All right.
Yeah, no sniffing in this neck of woods.
This is nothing to sniff at, no. All right, thanks a lot, Terry. So here's that story. A new study has found that 1 in 40 British adults take cocaine, which is more than any other country in Europe. We are number one. No other country sticks that poison up its nose as much as we do. Not in Europe, anyway. The only ones who beat us are... is it Australia? We'll find out. I'll read on and find out. The United States is 5th. I find that hard to believe. With 2.4% of Americans consuming the Class A drug, and 3rd and 4th is Austria and Spain. Austria! I mean, there's a country that you never really think of. I mean, what does Austria do for a living, for instance? I bet nobody's got any idea. The UK's high cocaine usage is thought to be fueled by the country's drinking culture. Oh, my God. We're drunk and stoned.
Oh, no.
It certainly would explain some of the driving I've seen lately. I mean, good grief. I should maybe keep the dash cam footage and put it up on a regular basis, because I almost never drive home without seeing some form of insanity on Britain's roads. Like, quite a lot, it will be people having a race, like chasing each other at, I don't know, 50, 60, 70 miles an hour down high streets, weaving in and out of cars like they're in a video game, and overtaking each other by going around a road traffic island on the wrong side of the road. And to hell with anybody that happens to be coming in the other direction, because everybody else, as I did last Sunday, has to avoid them, because they're not in a position or capable of avoiding anybody. And so everybody else on the road has to screech to a halt, otherwise everybody dies. But I see it every single time I go home. But you know me, I never complain.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
I mean, there's speeding cameras just don't do it. The amount of times that I've seen people fly by me and think, where are the police? What are they doing at this moment when they should be here beating these people to the ground and tasering them? As for back to the story. As for the types of people that take cocaine, the study found that it is widely used regardless of social class due to its dwindling price and increased availability. I bet some people in
this government
take it too. The countries with the lowest cocaine usage in the world: Indonesia, Japan and India. Usage is particularly high in Ireland, Canada and the Netherlands, with 2% of the population taking this drug. It doesn't say anything about Australia being number one, does it? The UK has the second highest rate of cocaine use in the world. This is on LBC's own website. A new study has found we take more cocaine than any other country in Europe. Oh, the only other country that takes more cocaine in the UK is Australia. Well, that's bizarre for a wide variety of reasons. How do you get it there, apart from anything else? I mean, it's on the other side of the blooming world. Don't take cocaine, kids. It's not good for you. Have a nice cup of tea instead. I think you'll find it a delight. Christmas carols. This call in Tooting from Jan. Jan.
Hi, good evening, Nick.
Yes, Jan.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to your A to Z. I always look forward to that.
Yeah, me too.
Listen, I've rung to ask you, what's your favourite Christmas carol?
Well,
do you have one, or do you sing them?
Yes, I do.
I'm sure. Yes.
I don't know whether it can be classed as a Christmas carol, but it's "O Little Lamb."
"O Little Lamb"
by.
I've not heard that one.
Yes, it's haunting, and it's my favourite Christmas song, apart from the Elvis song, which is. Not blue Christmas. Not that one. It's the blues track. Lasts about 6-7 minutes. I for the last few years I've been tweeting both out on Christmas Day,
Oh, I have to hear that one. I don't know that one. Little Lamb. What's so interesting?
I bet it's a bloke called Taverner. Oh, Little Lamb.
Oh, Taverner. The famous, the well-known.
Yeah, the well-known bloke called Taverner.
Choral music, a lot of choral music. So I'll tell you what's so interesting is that when you look into, like, there's such an archaeology behind a lot of the hymns we sing. I like two of my favourites, for instance, is
Archaeology?
Yeah, they're like the development, how the English language has developed or changed, since Middle Ages, then to Victorian times, or Shakespeare's times. The meaning of words have changed. Like the word for carol it could be a love song. You know what I mean? It's got so many different associations.
Does it?
And it's quite fascinating, really. And then here's an interesting fact. Just before I come back to the carols, is that the Oxford English Corpus, the ones who do the Oxford dictionaries, master, keeping an eye on the tracking the development of English. They've got 2 billion words. 2 billion words.
That's too many words.
No, if they've got a database, it's online. I mean, I don't know what will happen when AI gets hold of it. 2 billion words, and how it shows how English is developing, because it's developing all the time because of, the world is. I mean, there's so much interaction between different cultures.
Why? It's blowing my mind just thinking about it.
Yes, so. But what's so interesting about how these hymns evolved is that, the Christmas carols evolved, is that they weren't originally Christmas carols.
What were they?
Well, for instance, like one of my favourites, because it takes me back to childhood, is Away in a Manger. And apparently the first two verses, it's only got 3 verses to it, but the first 2 verses are anonymous. They don't know who wrote them. And then the third verse was written by someone in the, someone who lived mainly in the 19th century.
Yeah, some bloke.
And then the music...
All woman, sexist.
No, but the music as well. Who? A lot of them, we don't know who wrote the music. And like one of my, I don't know if you're familiar with that hymn called "In the Bleak Midwinter." It's not really bleak. It's a beautiful. It was written originally as a poem by Christina Rossetti.
Oh, a poem. Oh, well then.
No, yeah. But then Gustav Holst of the fame of writing the planets, he wrote the music to it at a different time, so they kind of had a funny evolution, and some of them were really pagan songs. They weren't written as carols or hymns.
Right, well, that's the reason that we're here and we're everybody's running around buying stuff that no one needs with money they haven't got, is because it used to be a pagan festival that was then co-opted by religions.
Yeah, well, not all of them. I mean, like as you say, some of them were written as hymns by. The words. Funnily enough, the words were often composed by separately to the music that was added later, or it was a traditional tune that came to it. Could have been something pagan even.
That's how Elton John writes. Gets the words, and then he does the tune.
Yeah, but these are the words and the tunes could be centuries apart when it comes. So it's quite interesting how they've come together. It's like something felicitous, something happy coming together.
Yeah, something happy. Yes, okay, well, thanks for illuminating that for us, Jan. Appreciate it. Julie texts, I remember Towering Inferno was always on the telly at Christmas in the late 1970s and 80s. The Die Hard of its day. Great cast. Yes, it is a great cast. Spoiler alert, everybody dies. Oh, I've ruined it for you. It says, I love Jimmy Durante's song, Make Someone Happy. Please sing it if you know it. I don't know it and I'm not going to sing it. I don't want to and you can't make me. Jim is in that old film that's a mad, 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 mad world. Yeah, Jimmy Durante is in that film right at the beginning. Ding dong merrily on high to your good self and your glamorous assistant, says Julie. Appreciate it, Julie. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbot, LBC.
This is LBC with Nick Abbot. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet at LBC. Text 84850.
Come on, we're running late.
0345 6060 973. Julian texts, is it possible to speed up Donald Trump's voice on your soundboard? I am curious to know what the product in your hair would sound like. No, it is not possible. And neither is it a request to show. Do I sound like Anne-Marie Minhall to you? Hastings, Ricky. Hey, Ricky, you're so fine. You're so fine. Ricky.
Hello, Nick.
Yes, sir.
Good evening. I've got to say I disagree about your thoughts with the cinema. If you're watching a horror film in now and you watch someone else so scared, they're petrified to look at the screen, it's one of the funniest things you can ever watch.
No, not funny. No, I was agreeing with you up to the point where you said funny. Because there was the Blair Witch Project. I saw that in the cinema, and it was a packed cinema. I just come back from watching the fireworks the year it was released, and people were saying, "Oh, this is just so scary. I can't believe it." And so I went there and I sat in the audience, and I could not wait for that film to end because it was just so uncomfortable. I've never experienced that with any other film. I mean, I just thought it was like a traumatic emotional experience for me. But I saw it again on TV, and it had no effect at all. So I think sometimes watching a film that does sort of give you an emotional charge is better in a room full of people, but only if they behave themselves.
Yeah, well, I found with the Blair Witch, it was more frustrating than good. I watched it, didn't like it. But then if you're in a cinema and you're watching an absolutely fantastic comedy, it's amplified.
That's true too. Yeah.
I do feel that everyone else laughing kind of brings out your spirits. And I'm normally the person that everyone looks round at because of I've got quite a strange laugh. Then secondly, I would like to add
yes,
good films, and I would highly recommend them. Ali G, Sacha Baron Cohen, any of the films that he done. If you want a good laugh, something silly, it kills me every time.
I'll look it up on the World Wide Wait. All right, good work. Thanks a lot, Ricky. 0345 6060 973. Yeah, I get the shared experience with a room full of people going to the cinema, but it's just too annoying. The people, that you can't trust them. You just can't. So it's a no from me. Tessa texts, perhaps the reintroduction of smoking to cinemas would improve that unpleasant, odorous nature. I used to love watching daytime films alone in the noughties, but things have changed, says Tessa. What's changed? Yes, we used to smoke in cinemas. Well, we used to smoke on planes and trains. There used to be a smoking carriage on the tube. You can believe that. Which I used to avoid because it was like walking into the carriage of death. It just had the reek of death about it. I'm not saying that people in there looked like they were dying, although because everybody on the tube looks like they're dying. I'm sure that being on the tube is not a healthful thing. What with all that dust in the air, whatever that stuff is. But in the cinema they used to. People on one side of the aisle would be smoking and people on the other side would be not smoking, as though smoke itself would restrict itself to the appropriate area. And you tell that to the kids today and they won't believe you. Windsor, Juliet.
Hello.
Juliet.
Hi, Nick.
How's it going?
Just wanted to say a couple of things to you.
Three things.
The first thing is thank you. Every Friday and Saturday, I've listened to LBC for nearly 30 years, and I've been listening to you for a very long time on Friday and Saturdays, and it is my little sanctuary.
Oh.
And no, seriously, take it. I'm going to blow you some sunshine, Mr. Abbott. And I was saying to your researcher, and I'm not going to get all down about it, but this has quite literally been the worst year of my life. And the one thing, Nick, is listening to you, because not only does it cheer me up, it cheers up thousands of other people, and it also makes us have a little escape away from this year.
How hideous everything is. Yes, awful.
Yeah, so, and the first time I spoke to you this year, it was I asked you an important question, what that rave song was that you played.
Oh, this one. Yes.
And I still don't believe is that Mick Red or whatever you said.
I think it's Big Red or something like that.
Yeah, see, you don't even know. And when I spoke to you before, you said, "Oh no, it's something red," and I said, "No, it's Playing the Knives." Bizarrely.
I think it's Dave Clark.
That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Anyway,
that
was it.
Yeah.
And just before I go, so thank you, Nick.
Well,
don't ever leave LBC.
Appreciate it, Juliet.
When you were talking about cocaine earlier, and you were talking about the UK, you were trying to find the info on Australia, and the UK's the second biggest user.
Isn't that weird?
And you said, well, I saw it on LBC's website, and it says we are the biggest cocaine takers. And for a second, I thought you were talking about LBC.
Oh, no, that's certainly not true. No.
Well, look, Nick Abbott, thank you.
Well, thank you, Juliet.
Happy Christmas, and see you in the new year.
All right, back at you. Thanks a lot. Cheers, my dear. 0345 6060 973. Julie texts, as you will be doing your Super A to Z show from Christmas Eve to New Year, have you had your Christmas dinner already, and what type of pizza was it? Yeah, I have. I mean, for what I would call my Christmas day, which was last Tuesday, the full lot, the usual, roasties and all that good stuff. Turkey, particularly good this year, the turkey, I thought. Moist and delicious, as opposed to dried out shoe leather like it can sometimes be. And the pizza was the Christmas warm-up pizza, which was... it had... Okay. Full disclosure, I put pineapple on it.
What?
Yep. I admit it. But it makes it juicy and sweet. Italians are pulling their hair out right now. Orpington, hello, Ray. But what do Italians know about food?
Hello, Nick. Hi. I was going to say, when I first saw Jaws in, I think it was 1975 when it came out, I believe, we was in a cinema, and at the beginning of the film, there is a certain scene where you're kind of relaxing, thinking, "Oh, this is." I know the bit you're talking about. And literally, everybody, including myself, literally jumped out of our seats, and all the flipped sort of seats went up and then down again. And the funny thing was, when I saw it again in a cinema, those that hadn't seen that sequence,
same thing,
all the seats went up and down. So
I know the exact. I know the exact moment you're talking about, and it's where he's inspecting the hull of a ship.
That's right.
Underwater, and something pops up.
It's a head. It's a head.
Well, you don't tell us.
Oh, I see. Sorry. yes. Sorry about that. But but it's a very clever piece of filmmaking.
Yes, it is.
I think
it's brilliant.
Very clever.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nick.
All right. Thank you, Ray. Appreciate it. Yeah, that to Steven Spielberg, he'll go far. As long as he can, get himself into a position where he can do some more films after Jaws, then I'm sure he has the potential to be something of a success. Kevin says, there are three things that have switched me from right to left wing. Yourself, James O'Brien, and, of course, the Conservative Party. They've pushed him away. He says, I've never voted incorrectly before. That included Tony Blair 3 times before a run of Tory losers. It's Keir Starmer or me next time. Probably it's Keir Starmer for me next time, because otherwise it don't make sense. It's Keir Starmer or me. Maybe it does make sense. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be 4. It's Keir Starmer for me next time. Vote with me and you can't go wrong, says Kevin. And, finally, Steve texts, I think Rishi brought his military uniform from Mattel. I mean, ordinarily, I don't approve of being rude about people's physical appearance. Isn't that right, Bodge?
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. Ain't that right, Smug?
I don't know anything.
He doesn't know anything. Normally, I don't like making fun of anybody.
Absolutely.
But in Titch's case, I'll make an exception. Now, if you missed any of tonight's show, you can listen back on Catch Up on Global Player, but don't. Listen to the podcast. It's better. We take the news and the ads out, which means a 3-hour show becomes quicker to listen to. Plus, they're up there forever, whereas catch-up is only available for a certain period before it disappears, because we've only got so much room on our computer. But the podcast stays up there forever, and it's available on Global Player. Now, when I do the A to Z, they're all going to be podcasts as well, and they will also only be available on Global Player. So if you haven't got it, you can get it for free from your favourite app store. Ask for Global Player or globalplayer.com. It's got all of the stations we do, all of the podcasts, just endless entertainment. Global Player, get it for free, and you can thank me later. I'll be back at 10. Coming up at 4, Ollie Dugmore. But first, Clyde Bull.
Nick, thank you. After the news, millions of train passengers face a hike in fares of nearly 5% next year. Christmas cards might take till February to arrive, apparently. And that's before we get onto the water industry. So I want to ask, is it time to reverse privatisation? Also coming up, the BBC head of content says Christmas television is a lie. 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 Christmas